Chapter 332. Over there, Lin Yuan's mind tensed up. Since his consciousness had descended into this world, Freeweb novel, Lin Yuan had only encountered various kinds of demonic beasts and feral creatures. As for others, he had seldom come into contact with them. The main reason was that Lin Yuan was located in the Yunwu mountain range, which was a paradise for demonic and feral beasts. Is someone coming? Lin Yuan extended his senses and discovered that a young man and woman were approaching from several miles away. Senior brother, choosing Yunwu mountain range as the place for our training expedition, isn't it too risky? The young woman said in a low, cautious voice. How do you capture tiger cubs without entering the tiger's den? Junior sister, nowadays our sect has brought out many foundational heritages to resist the invasion of the foreign evil god. As long as we can get through this training, we will gain great benefits and opportunities, the young man continued. Yunwu mountain range, although dangerous, those demonic beasts are much easier to deal with than the puppets of the foreign evil god. If we are afraid of these beasts, how will we deal with the foreign evil god in the future? What you say makes sense, senior brother. Hearing this, the young woman looked at the young man with admiration in her gaze. Several miles away, Lin Yuan cautiously observed the young couple. Due to the language barrier, Lin Yuan didn't know what they were actually saying, but through their expressions and behavior, he deduced that the young man and woman likely came from an external force. Equivalent to the second layer, probably disciples. Lin Yuan thought to himself, the time flow speed in this world compared to the main world was 600 to 1, which absolutely shouldn't be underestimated. The strongest might reach 7th rank peak. Read latest stories on. Since discovering the young man and woman, Lin Yuan spent most of his time observing them. Regarding making a move to capture them? Without thoroughly understanding the young couple's strengths, Lin Yuan absolutely would not make a move. Who knows if this young couple might have some powerful elder? Would killing them draw the attention of this elder? Lin Yuan's observation of the young couple was primarily to learn their language. With his against heaven's understanding, Lin Yuan could generally learn anything after seeing and hearing it once. Learning a completely new language was no difficulty at all. He only needed to remember their pronunciation, and by recalling the tone and expressions used during those pronunciations, he could roughly figure it out. Tianqing World? Tianqing Great Alliance? Half a month later, Lin Yuan had eavesdropped a lot of useful information from the young couple. Firstly, this place was called Tianqing World, and currently, the strongest faction here was the Tianqing Great Alliance. The Tianqing Great Alliance was a colossal entity formed from countless forces within Tianqing World to counter the invasion of the foreign evil god. Indeed, the foreign evil god has already started their move, Lin Yuan pondered thoughtfully. Perhaps many years ago, the foreign evil god had started invading this world but had never succeeded. That's why the ancestral demon tree had scattered its countless seeds into Tianqing World, attempting to invade through other means. That alliance hierarch of the Tianqing Great Alliance, his strength must have reached the 7th rank, and he's not just any 7th rank. Lin Yuan often heard the young man speak admiringly of the alliance hierarch. Over the years of the foreign evil god's invasion, if it weren't for the alliance hierarch repeatedly stopping the chaos, the situation would likely be much worse than it is now, allowing them to leisurely enter the Black Mist Mountain range for training? They're returning. Lin Yuan gazed towards the young couple. After hunting several second-layer demonic beasts, the couple had completed their training task and planned to return to their sect to claim their rewards. Lin Yuan didn't stop them because there was no need. They hadn't noticed him, and making a move would only reveal his presence. Continue the hunt. Once the young couple had completely left, Lin Yuan resumed his hunting of the demonic beasts. Now reaching 7 to 8 meters in size, ordinary first or second layer beasts couldn't escape once they came within 100 meters, all becoming Lin Yuan's nourishment. Several days later, it's time to leave. Now that the surrounding demonic beasts had almost been hunted to extinction, to maintain his current rate of cultivation, he must move to another region to repeat the hunt. Lin Yuan looked towards the depths of Yunwu mountain range, planning to move in that direction. The closer to the depths of Yunwu mountain range, the denser the spiritual energy of heaven and earth became, and similarly the stronger the demonic beasts, which naturally helped Lin Yuan even more. However, before leaving, it might be worth dealing with that group underground. Lin Yuan's gaze shifted towards the ground. Yunwu mountain range, one of the top 10 mountain ranges in Tianqing World, was vast and extensive, inhabited by countless demonic and feral beasts. A large portion of these beasts lived on the surface, yet still, there were traces of demonic beasts underground. The group Lin Yuan referred to was a group of Uthrok mice. These rodent demonic beasts liked to live underground, leveraging their abilities to burrow countless tunnels, even building a rodent underground palace 100 meters below the surface. Essentially a rodent dynasty. Lin Yuan had discovered the traces of these Ethrock mice when he inadvertently entered a tunnel while exploring the underground with his roots, eventually finding their trails. Probably over 300 Ethrock mice. The Mouse King has second-layer strength, Lin Yuan thought. The size of the Ethrock mice was not smaller than that of a purple-eyed rabbit, close to half a meter, and the Ethrock Mouse King was even 2 meters in size. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 333. Like a reckless bull. Lin Yuan had waited until now to make a move because he hadn't been confident before. He was afraid that taking action would startle the Ethrock mouse group and cause most of them to escape. Over 300 Ethrock mice, so much flesh and soul, even without counting the Ethrock Mouse King, could greatly enhance Lin Yuan's strength. Not to mention, the Ethrock Mouse King built its nest here because of a strain of earth element elixir? Lin Yuan carefully sensed and discovered an extremely pure earth element spiritual power diffusing and spreading deep within 100 meters underground in the Rat Dynasty. Lin Yuan guessed that the reason the Ethrock Mouse King could grow to a 2-meter size was closely related to that strain of earth element elixir. Mine. All mine. Lin Yuan's eyes burned with fervor, and with a slight shift in his thoughts, hundreds of branches as well as roots began to approach the Rat Dynasty's location. Dozens of meters underground. Several tunnels ran in all directions, and gray Ethrock mice half a meter in size constantly moved back and forth along the tunnels, bringing all the food they could find back to the Rat King. Suddenly, at that moment, an Ethrock mouse suddenly stopped. It gently sniffed the air with its nose, sensing something. The next moment, before this Ethrock mouse could react, a black branch as tough as refined iron pierced through it. Squeak! The Ethrock mouse let out a miserable squeak, and soon, its flesh and soul were completely devoured by the branch. Next, it was the doom of the Ethrock mice. One after another, black branches continuously pierced through Ethrock mice, devouring their essence and souls, transforming it into their intrinsic strength in a virtuous cycle. Awesome. On the surface, Lin Yuan felt extremely fulfilled, a massive amount of Ethrock mice's essence and souls transforming into surging power, replenishing his own. If it were just a normal demon tree seed, it couldn't possibly devour so many Ethrock mice at once. It would have exploded. But Lin Yuan was different. As a 7th rank evolver, he could rapidly absorb all the power under his control of the realm. For an evil god, there is some trick to it. As Lin Yuan devoured the Ethrock mice, he thought to himself. The devouring ability he displayed at this moment stemmed from the innate instinct of the demon tree seed, which was the power of the ancestral demon tree. Find your next adventure on this ability had almost no side effects. You see, even in the main world's devour-type evolution path, consuming flesh and soul would impact the purity of one's own soul. But the devouring power of the demon tree was extremely dominant, be it flesh or soul, both were nutrients for itself. Unfortunately, once it reaches the 7th and 8th layer, what matters is the comprehension of rules, and the accumulation of energy is actually not that important. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. The Scarlet Spirit liquid from the Red Kuan lineage is the best example. The power of the demon tree seed has an almost cheat-like effect below the 7th rank but becomes much weaker once reaching the 7th rank. We're getting close to that Rat King's underground palace? Lin Yuan's expression became slightly serious. 100 meters underground. A small palace spanned across. This palace, constructed entirely of dirt, though lacking in details, was considered a very fine structure for rats. However, a black branch swept lightly like a black dragon, crushing 1/10 of the palace. Squeak squeak, a 2-meter large Ethrock Mouse King sprang out, looking at the collapsing palace with a glimmer of anger in its eyes. As a 2nd-layer demonic beast, the Ethrock Mouse King had developed some intelligence, otherwise, it wouldn't have specifically built a palace to reside in. Seeing the palace destroyed, it naturally felt emotional turmoil. However, just as the Ethrock Mouse King was observing the black branch resembling a black dragon and considering how to attack it, boom boom boom, several more black branches swept over once again. Startled, the Ethrock Mouse King quickly retreated. Squeak squeak. The Ethrock Mouse King hurriedly squealed a few times. It signaled other Ethrock mice to come and protect it. However, no matter how the Ethrock Mouse King called, only a few Ethrock mice came. And they had just arrived when they were pierced by the black branches and rapidly turned to dust. Run! Although the Ethrock Mouse King had second layer strength, seeing this scene, where would it dare stay any longer? He instinctively wanted to run. In the depths of the palace, there was a tunnel personally dug by the Ethrock Mouse King. Connected to another place, as long as he emerged from that tunnel, the Ethrock Mouse King had the possibility to escape to freedom. Before the Ethrock Mouse King could run far, he was surrounded by black branches that rushed over. The Ethrock Mouse King instinctively activated his life-saving measures. A dull yellow light rose from his body. But facing the continuous attack of hundreds of black branches, the dull yellow light on the Ethrock Mouse King's body eventually shattered, and the 2-meter-sized Ethrock Mouse King became nourishment for Lin Yuan's growth. This is comfortable, Lin Yuan exhaled softly, the branches swaying slightly. The second layer Ethrock Mouse King was definitely the most delicious life that Lin Yuan had devoured since his arrival. The ample blood energy and fearful soul brought pleasure to both Lin Yuan's body and mind. That's about it. Let's see what that earth element elixir is. Lin Yuan's controlled black branches cleared the underground battlefield and eventually reached the deepest part of the underground palace where the Ethrock Mouse King resided. There, a palm-sized spiritual plant was growing. Under the leaves of the spiritual plant hang several spirit fruits the size of a little finger, with faint vibrations of earth element spiritual power emanating from them. Is this the earth element elixir that could catalyze a second layer Rat King? Lin Yuan inspected it carefully. He did not recognize what this spiritual medicine was. But it didn't matter, as he was going to directly swallow it anyway. There was no difference. Lin Yuan was just curious about what the mystery was behind such a small spiritual medicine. Let's eat it. Without hesitation, Lin Yuan's black branches swept in, directly devouring all the spiritual power and essence of that spiritual medicine. Done. Everything is finished. We can leave now. After devouring the Ethrock Mouse horde and that spiritual medicine, Lin Yuan was fully satisfied and began to control the roots, slowly moving towards the depths of the Yunwu mountain range. Although the demon tree could move on its own and was not confined to a specific location, its speed was not very fast. To avoid being noticed by other demonic beasts, Lin Yuan moved whenever there were no other demonic beasts passing nearby. Half a month later, Lin Yuan successfully entered deep into the Yunwu mountain range. This area was already the outer layer deep within the mountain range with abundant spiritual power, and the number of demonic beasts also increased. Flutter. As Lin Yuan's branches swayed, he devoured hundreds of Ethrock mice, including the Ethrock Mouse King and the earth element elixir. Lin Yuan's body size soared to over 10 meters. The pitch-black main trunk and leaves emitted a chilling essence. As the offspring of the demon tree, Lin Yuan was naturally aligned with the evil faction. This won't do. I need to disguise my aura. Lin Yuan thought if he continued to exude an evil aura, he could forget about hunting. Which demonic beast would dare to approach? It shouldn't be difficult to develop a secret technique to conceal and disguise one's aura. Lin Yuan began to comprehend again, creating a breath-hiding secret technique based on the characteristics of the demon tree itself. Your perception defies the heavens, you feel your own aura circulating, attempting to create a breath-hiding secret technique. Your perception defies the heavens, you feel your own aura circulating, attempting to create a breath-hiding secret technique. Your perception defies the heavens, you feel your own aura circulating, attempting to create a breath-hiding secret technique. Several days later, Lin Yuan successfully developed a breath-hiding secret technique. Upon activation, his evil aura began to converge. Instead, it emitted a harmless aura. Under these circumstances, some passing birds unwittingly stopped to rest on Lin Yuan's branches. Not bad, not bad. Lin Yuan had no interest in those frail birds. These birds hardly had any life force, and he was too lazy to even bother devouring them. That wolf demon over there? Lin Yuan's perception spread out and discovered several miles away, there was a den of wolves. The leader of the wolves was 7 to 8 meters in size, resembling a small hill. Just like that, time rapidly passed by. In the blink of an eye, 50 years had passed since Lin Yuan arrived in this world. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 334 Outside the Black Mist Mountain Range. As one of the top 10 mountain ranges in the Tianqing world, no one knows how many demonic beasts and ancient medicines exist within the Black Mist Mountain Range. And these, to many cultivators, are undoubtedly endless treasures. However, 283 years ago, the foreign evil god invaded, and countless evil god puppets entered the Tianqing world. The various forces of the Tianqing world, under the threat of life and death, immediately formed the Tianqing alliance, setting aside all grievances, gathering all their strength, to fend off the evil god puppets outside the world. As a result, most cultivators went to the battlefield to fight against the evil god puppets. The number of cultivators entering the Black Mist Mountain range became much fewer, mostly consisting of the weaker younger generation. But even so, at the entrance of the Black Mist Mountain range, many cultivators would still come and go every day. It was foreseeable how prosperous the Black Mist Mountain range was before the invasion of the foreign evil god. Have you noticed, in the past few decades, the number of demonic beasts in the Black Mist Mountain range has decreased a lot? Indeed, when I used to enter the Black Mist Mountain range, I had to be extremely careful. At any moment I could encounter a demonic beast, but now, it's rare to meet any formidable demonic beasts. What could be the reason? Could it be a problem with the kings deep within the Black Mist Mountain range? At the entrance of the Black Mist Mountain range, some cultivators were conversing in low voices. They often entered the range and could notice the changes happening within. The kings deep in the Black Mist Mountain range? It's unlikely, right? Those kings with noble bloodlines and long lifespans, would they encounter any problems? In the past, every few decades, those kings of the Black Mist Mountain range would command countless demonic beasts to initiate beast tides, but since the invasion of the foreign evil god, the powerful demonic beasts of the Black Mist Mountain range have become much more docile. It's not that those kings have problems, but the number of powerful demonic beasts has decreased. Could it be the doing of those kings? After all, the ones that can command many demonic beasts are only those kings. That makes sense. Many cultivators were discussing animatedly, the reduction in the number of powerful demonic beasts in the Black Mist Mountain range had a certain impact on them, making it difficult to hunt valuable demonic beasts. But if it really was the doing of those kings, there was nothing they could do about it. Those kings are powerful and have profound foundations. Even during normal times, the cultivators on the human side couldn't contend with them, only able to set up contracts. Besides, most of the human forces are now focused on resisting the invasion of the foreign evil god. Deep within the Black Mist Mountain range, a tree about 30 or 40 meters tall stood quietly there, with pitch-black branches and vines hanging down, and the canopy emitted specks of green light. This tree, though a bit strange and slightly different from normal ancient trees, was growing in the Black Mist Mountain range, where it was common to have trees of peculiar varieties. However, upon close observation, one would realize that within 10 to 100 miles around this ancient tree, not a single demonic beast could be found. Although its aura was peaceful and warm, it faintly had an unnerving scent. 50 years how? Lin Yuan sighed. Of course, in his current state, he couldn't truly sigh, only the branches gently swayed a few times. These past 50 years had been a period of rapid growth for Lin Yuan, with countless demonic beasts of the Black Mist Mountain range as nourishment. Lin Yuan lived comfortably, and after a tough initial period, he grew stronger every day. My current size now, Lin Yuan examined himself, his height now reaching 30 or 40 meters. Yet, this height was the result of Lin Yuan's utmost suppression. If he didn't hold back, he could easily exceed 100 meters and stand out alarmingly within the Black Mist Mountain range. It might even attract the attention of the Tianqing Alliance leader and several Vice Alliance hierarchs. If that happened, Lin Yuan's true identity would most likely be exposed. If the Tianqing Alliance leader learned that an offspring of the ancestral demon tree had infiltrated into the deep rear of their world, believe it or not, they would likely temporarily abandon their gains and losses on the battlefield, focusing all their strength first on dealing with Lin Yuan. One must secure one's own country before attacking others. The rationale was not hard to understand. Though the height of the demon tree was only 30 or 40 meters now, its roots, however, had already spread tens of thousands of miles underground. If Lin Yuan wished, with a single thought, he could attack from any position within tens of thousands of miles. The roots of plants and trees are always much larger than their trunks. Although the demon tree wasn't entirely a tree, it had the abilities that trees possess. Within a few thousand miles, Lin Yuan carefully sensed around. With the help of his roots, he could control everything within tens of thousands of miles. Even with the extended sensation of the roots, he could detect information tens or hundreds of thousands of miles away. Read latest stories on the deepest kings? Lin Yuan's perception spread out, exploring towards the deepest parts of the Black Mist Mountain range. That place was a forbidden zone for all demonic beasts, where the kings of the Black Mist Mountain range resided. Within Lin Yuan's perception, at the deepest part of the Black Mist Mountain range, stood a reddish ancient phoenix tree. At the top of the phoenix tree, there was a giant nest and a golden red feathered bird was sleeping. Vermilion bird? Or a phoenix? Lin Yuan did not make any rash moves, he observed secretly for a while, then slowly retreated. Free Webble. After 50 years of cultivation in terms of combat power, I should be a match for a 6th rank evolver in the main world. The cultivation system of a demon tree is completely different from that of the martial Tao. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 335 Lin Yuan fell into deep thought. Of course, although he had not cultivated the martial path evolutionary path, this did not affect Lin Yuan's ability to use his against heaven's understanding to infer and perfect the 7th rank chapter of the martial path evolutionary path. Moreover, some essences of the demon tree were highly referential to the martial path evolutionary path and could be perfectly integrated into it. Outer domain battlefield of evil gods. Lin Yuan's gaze drifted towards the outer domain. Under the instinctive perception from the demon tree, there was an abyss-like aura there, precisely the location of the ancestral demon tree. The ancestral demon tree wants to invade this world, but it's not going smoothly, Lin Yuan thought to himself. 50 years had passed, and he had not sensed the ancestral demon tree advancing even a bit. It was clearly blocked. For the invader, this was a disadvantage. The Tianqing world had the backing of an entire world that could continuously send cultivators to resist. And the ancestral demon tree? Even as a foreign evil god with a strong essence, it was, after all, just an individual. In terms of foundation, it simply couldn't compete with a complete world. For now, it has nothing to do with me. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. In this traversal, he had 600 years to stay in this world. So far, only 50 had passed, not even 1/10, and he still had plenty of time to cultivate. The deadlock between the Tianqing world and the ancestral demon tree was a good thing for Lin Yuan. If the latter were to come to this world before Lin Yuan had grown to surpass the ancestral demon tree, it would be bad. That's why over these 50 years, Lin Yuan had devoured countless demonic beasts in the Black Mist Mountain range but had deliberately avoided human cultivators. One reason was the fear of being discovered to be abnormal. The other was his reluctance to weaken the strength of human cultivators. As of now, Lin Yuan still needed countless cultivators from the Tianqing alliance to sacrifice their lives in resisting the invasion of the ancestral demon tree, buying him time to grow. However, recently I have awakened a power of the ancestral demon tree. Lin Yuan's mind stirred, and the branches of the demon tree swayed as a gray and plain seed floated before him. Demon tree seed. Lying beyond the domain, the ancestral demon tree constantly scattered seeds that turned into evil god puppets, battling against the powerhouses of the Tianqing world. As the legitimate offspring of the ancestral demon tree, once Lin Yuan grew to a certain extent and escaped the world's suppression, he could naturally produce seeds. Lin Yuan gazed at the grayish seed before him, the seed of the demon. Up to now, Lin Yuan had perceived 3 functions of the demon seed. The first was to directly transform into a demon puppet. That was the method currently used by the ancestral demon tree, using its vast primordial qi to nurture the demon seeds, making them quickly grow into evil god puppets. The second was parasitism, where the demon seed could parasitize within a living being, thereby controlling it. The third was natural growth, by scattering seeds onto fertile soil, where the seeds would take root and sprout. Lin Yuan's predecessor, the demon tree, was bred using the third method by the ancestral demon tree. Each method had its advantages and disadvantages, but only the third method could truly be regarded as offspring of the ancestral demon tree, capable of inheriting some of the ancestral demon tree's innate abilities. Your journey continues on. The first function of the demon seed is of no use to me. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. Using his own primordial qi to nurture the growth of the demon tree seed was not suitable for the current Lin Yuan. What kind of being was the ancestral demon tree? Dominating beyond the domain and amassing a robust accumulation, it dared to use its vast primordial qi to nurture demon seeds. But how many years had Lin Yuan accumulated? Besides, if he had sufficient primordial qi, Lin Yuan would directly enhance himself instead of cultivating something like puppets. And the third effect of the demon seed was even more unnecessary. Even the seeds of the ancestral demon tree scattered to the Tianqing world, mostly died, not to mention the seeds of Lin Yuan, offspring of the ancestral demon tree. Parasitism. Lin Yuan pondered over the second function of the demon seed. It could parasitize within a certain living creature, controlling it. This ability required many prerequisite conditions, the most important being that the host had no ability to resist. Otherwise the parasitism would fail. Lin Yuan's mind stirred. Thousands of miles away, a purple-eyed rabbit cautiously poked its head out, gazing at a spiritual herb not far away with a hint of longing in its eyes. Whoosh! The purple-eyed rabbit looked around, didn't spot any danger, and with a whoosh, it lunged towards the spiritual herb. However, just at that moment, a black tree trunk protruded from the ground, directly capturing the purple-eyed rabbit and pulling it back underground. It was all over in just a moment. Purple-eyed rabbit then appeared in front of Lin Yuan. Squeak, squeak. The purple-eyed rabbit emitted a trembling sound as it looked at the massive figure in front of it, continuously turning in circles where it stood. "I'll use you to test the parasitic effect," Lin Yuan said. Lin Yuan watched the purple-eyed rabbit as a dusty gray seed fell down and precisely landed on the rabbit. Buzz! The purple-eyed rabbit collapsed to the ground with a thud, and that dusty gray demon tree seed quickly permeated the purple-eyed rabbit's head. A moment later, the purple-eyed rabbit was thoroughly controlled. It stood up stiffly and emitted a deeply respectful spiritual wave of submission toward Lin Yuan. This feeling. Lin Yuan observed the purple-eyed rabbit, and under his control, it continuously performed various actions, whether rolling or running. "It's not bad," Lin Yuan nodded slightly. At this time, the purple-eyed rabbit was not dead. It was still alive, but it had been replaced by the demon tree seed. "It's just... this is too obvious." Lin Yuan looked at the purple-eyed rabbit. The rabbit, parasitized by the demon seed, had stiff limbs, a dull gaze, and even its movements gave off a sluggish illusion. It would be easy for others to notice something was amiss. No wonder the ancestral demon tree did not utilize the seed's parasitic ability. It is indeed somewhat limited, Lin Yuan thought to himself. The parasitic ability of the demon tree seed, although it does not require the expenditure of primordial qi to activate, has many limitations. The first of these is that the host must not resist. If they are unable to resist, why not kill them and consume them directly? Why waste energy on parasitism? Moreover, after parasitism, while certainly under control, the manifestation is extremely obvious. In the Tianqing world, it would be difficult for powerful beings not to notice. However, this parasitic ability, can I possibly improve and perfect it with against heaven's understanding? Lin Yuan mused and fell into brief thought. Right after his arrival in this world, Lin Yuan, with against heaven's understanding, devised a method suited for cultivating with the demon tree seed. Now with this demon tree seed, Lin Yuan could certainly perform improvements. Of course, the demon tree seed is a natural ability of the demon tree fruit novel. Improving and perfecting it would be difficult, but with against heaven's understanding, Lin Yuan could still give it a try. In the following period, Lin Yuan focused on 4 areas. One was to continue enhancing his own strength, consuming more demonic and fierce beasts, propelling his own growth. 2 was to perfect the martial path evolutionary path 7th rank chapter. 3 was to comprehend the remaining core space models. Though he lost the environment of frequent spatial fluctuations like those in the battlefields of different species, Lin Yuan's speed in comprehending core space models decreased. But Lin Yuan now had more time. With 600 years of residency and against heaven's understanding, Lin Yuan could raise his comprehension of space rules to an unimaginable level. As for 4, it was to attempt improving the demon tree seed. Even though for the ancestral demon tree, the demon tree seed was an extremely important method, Lin Yuan still planned to spend some energy and time on this aspect. He would be delighted with any gains. Even if there were none in the end, there would be no loss. Time again passed by. Suddenly it was another period later. Deep within the Black Mist Mountain range, Lin Yuan's form rose another 10 meters. The demon tree was now nearly reaching a height of 50 meters, with dangling branches and swaying canopy, extremely extraordinary. This was even with Lin Yuan greatly suppressing its growth. If he had allowed it to grow freely, the demon tree would be at least hundreds or thousands of meters tall by now. It's important to note that the ancestral demon tree in the outer domain didn't know how many tens of thousands of meters tall it was, and millions upon millions of demon tree seeds grew on just one of its branches. Otherwise, it would not have been able to contend with the Tianqing world until now. For now, I've reached a temporary limit in strength. From now on, consuming ordinary demonic beasts would not yield much effect. Lin Yuan's spiritual waves slowly expanded as he gazed into the depths of the Black Mist Mountain range. That was the location of the Supreme King of the Black Mist Mountain range. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 336 The King of the Black Mist Mountain Range was the most powerful demonic beast in the entire range. They belonged to a noble lineage and had long lifespans, yet most of their time was spent in slumber. 10 years ago, Lin Yuan had secretly observed a king, which resembled a phoenix and a vermilion bird, sleeping atop a crimson phoenix tree. However, at the time, Lin Yuan was not confident in dealing with that king. Of course, Lin Yuan's dealing meant to do so unnoticed. The 8 kings of the Black Mist Mountain Range all had to be confronted without causing any major disturbances, otherwise alarming other kings could lead to unpredictable consequences. It's about time, Lin Yuan thought to himself. All 8 kings of the Black Mist Mountain Range possess strength ranging from the 6th rank to the 6th rank peak. Now Lin Yuan, also within the 6th rank, should be on par with them in terms of sheer power. Even if one side could win, it would undoubtedly come at a great cost, and it was totally impossible not to alert the other kings. But this only applied to a normal demon tree. Lin Yuan was no ordinary demon tree. Besides the multiple abilities of a demon tree, he also had insights into the space rules, the Tai-Yin Tai-Yang rule and the rule of power. With Lin Yuan's current application of the space rules, it was completely normal for him to create a spatial prison with a wave of his hand, cutting off heaven and earth. This was also the reason Lin Yuan now dared to make a move against the kings of the Black Mist Mountain Range. Don't hold back, end the battle quickly. Lin Yuan was determined to ensure this attack went smoothly. The main body of the demon tree was slowly moving towards the deepest parts of the Black Mist Mountain Range. At the deepest part of the Black Mist Mountain Range, a valley connected to the subterranean fire veins, making the air intensely hot. In the center of the valley, a crimson phoenix tree stood towering, and at its top, a nest housed a bird resembling a phoenix and a vermilion bird asleep inside. Hiss hiss hiss. Just then, dozens of black branches quickly approached from all directions, leaving no blind spots, surrounding the nest at the top of the phoenix tree. The next moment, the cold black branches were all incinerated into nothingness by flames. Screech. At the top of the phoenix tree within the nest, the phoenix silently opened its eyes. Who is it? Have you forgotten the pact? The phoenix emitted a terrifying psychic fluctuation, and infinite flames began to permeate the air. Human cultivators and the 8 kings of the Black Mist Mountain Range had once made a covenant to not interfere with each other. The demonic beasts of the Black Mist Mountain Range were not to create disturbances behind the backs of the human cultivators while they resisted the foreign evil god. The 8 kings had no objections to this point. Although the demonic beasts and humans were 2 different races, they shared the same world. If the foreign evil god broke through, countless demonic beasts of the Black Mist Mountain Range would suffer as well. Therefore, for the past 200 or 300 years, the 8 kings of the Black Mist Mountain Range suppressed many demonic beasts, not even starting a single beast tide, all to coordinate with the human cultivators. Of course, the covenant not only restricted the 8 kings of the Black Mist Mountain Range but also the human cultivators from disturbing the king's slumber. But now, the Phoenix King did not know what these black branches were, but they definitely did not come from the demonic beasts of the Black Mist Mountain Range. As a king, the Phoenix King's noble lineage exerted a supreme oppressive force on other demonic beasts. Those beasts trembled at its sight, so how could they dare to make a move? Thus, the Phoenix King concluded that this must be the work of a human cultivator. This made the Phoenix King even more furious. It had faithfully followed the pact, yet the humans had attacked it. Die die. The Phoenix King, enraged, churned its phoenix flames, turning approaching black branches into nothingness. Time slowly passed. Almost half a day had slipped by in an instant. At first, the Phoenix King was exceptionally excited. It didn't remember the last time it had exerted full power like this. Beings like the kings of the demonic beasts could not act rashly, or else they would attract the attention of the human cultivators, especially during this critical period against the foreign evil god. But I didn't initiate this, you humans provoked me, so it's fine for me to act, right? I can even go and hold your alliance hierarch accountable. The more the Phoenix King thought about it, the more excited it became. The alliance hierarch of the Tianqing Alliance was extremely powerful, and had many treasures in his collection, one of which the Phoenix King greatly desired. Previously, the Phoenix King was too embarrassed to ask for it since there was no reason, but now that the humans had broken the pact, it had every reason to demand it. Your next read awaits at Something Isn't Right. While the Phoenix King was generating phoenix flames, waves of black branches were incinerated, one batch after another with no sign of stopping. What exactly is going on? The Phoenix King began to panic. It wasn't panicking over the unceasing black branches. Although each of these black branches were extraordinarily sturdy, they still couldn't withstand its phoenix flames. It could handle even more as long as it had the strength and stamina. The Phoenix King was panicking because it had been counterattacking for so long, yet why hadn't the other 7 kings of the Black Mist Mountain range come to help? The power of the phoenix flames was immense, causing great disturbances. Reaching such a length of time with the phoenix flames should have alerted the entire Black Mist Mountain range to what was happening here. Those 7 old fellows definitely should have felt it. Given this, they should have come over by now. The Phoenix King didn't understand. The 8 kings of the Black Mist Mountain range always had a rule to look out for one another, supporting each other when one was in trouble. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 337. This is also a key reason why the Black Mist Mountain range still exists to this day, and why it hasn't been flattened by human cultivators. Even the demon beast kings from the other 9 mountain ranges have similar rules. In Tianqing world, all demonic beasts are subtly united, managing to withstand the oppression of the human race. But now, the Phoenix King surveyed his surroundings. Even if those 7 old fellows are just watching the show and are too lazy to come over, the human cultivators outside the mountain range should have noticed what's happening here, and under normal circumstances, they would have already sent someone to check it out. This is not good. The Phoenix King no longer paid attention to the black branches shooting toward him from all directions. Instead, he spread his wings and soared into the sky, trying to leave the Black Mist Mountain range. However, as the Phoenix King shot tens of miles high into the air, he seemed to hit some barrier, and his form came to an abrupt halt. What is this? The Phoenix King scrutinized the barrier in front of him. Then, following the barrier, he looked in all directions. Upon close inspection, the Phoenix King was shocked to find that he had fallen into a huge spatial prison. Above, below, left, and right were all the same. Just like a caged bird. Shrink the space near the Phoenix King by 100-fold, 1,000-fold, or even 10,000-fold, and you'll find a place as big as the palm of your hand, with the Phoenix King's giant form now the size of an ant, frantically probing the surroundings like a headless fly. This is the spatial prison, made up of the 1st core spatial model, the 13th core spatial model, the 21st core spatial model, the 30th core spatial model, the 33rd core spatial model. And combined into a space-killing move, Lin Yuan looked down at the Phoenix King, who was desperately trying to escape within the spatial prison. Similar to the instantaneous movement ability, the spatial prison is another application of different core spatial models, compressing space to confine the enemy and a section of the nearby space to the size of a palm. Using the power of space to create a spatial barrier, unless the enemy's understanding of space exceeds his own, or the force they invoke is more than 10 times stronger than Lin Yuan's, it is very difficult for them to escape. According to Lin Yuan's observation of this Phoenix King, although it resembles the divine bird, the vermilion bird, it fundamentally differs from the true phoenix and has a low understanding of space. Space rules. Lin Yuan sighed lightly. No wonder the main world human civilization alliance requires a deep understanding of space rules to advance to an 8th layer evolver. Without the understanding of space rules, facing a master of such, one wouldn't even know how they died. Now, drain its energy first, wait until its physical strength, essence and primordial chi are exhausted before making a move. Lin Yuan looked at the Phoenix King, now the size of an ant within the palm-sized space, and patiently waited. After all, with the Phoenix King now in his grasp, there was no need for a head-on collision. The heat of the Phoenix flames is indeed terrifying and showed a tendency to subdue Lin Yuan. Days later, the Phoenix King's expression was grave, and his aura had significantly weakened. This space, the Phoenix King was beginning to realize something. The space it saw was no longer normal but a prison. Who could it be? Such technique, could it be the Tianqing Alliance leader? But why attack me with the foreign evil god still unresolved? The Phoenix King felt uneasy. Suddenly, at that moment, the space in all directions began to shatter. Seeing this, the Phoenix King's face lit up with joy and instinctively, it stretched its wings trying to fly away. Bang! A pitch-black tree trunk pressed down, and numerous black branches swiftly entwined. What is this? The Phoenix King's eyes widened as the tree trunks binding it were now immensely more powerful than the branches it had initially burned to nothingness with its phoenix flames. Who exactly are you? The Phoenix King could only feel that the branches entwining it were voraciously consuming its blood, essence and soul. In its last moments of consciousness, looking along the branches, it caught sight of a 50-meter-tall ancient tree. The ancient tree exuded a vast, ancient aura while subtly emanating madness and evil. You're not a creature of this world, you are the foreign evil god, you are the ancestral demon tree. The Phoenix King's mind was engulfed by tumultuous waves. Although it had never seen the foreign evil god or the ancestral demon tree, the aura emitted by Lin Yuan at this moment was distinctly different from the creatures of Tianqing world. Has the foreign evil god already infiltrated the Tianqing world? This thought surfaced in the Phoenix King's mind as its consciousness quickly succumbed to darkness. Inhale. Exhale. All the vast blood, essence and soul of the Phoenix King were devoured by Lin Yuan. Although the Phoenix King's comprehension of space rules wasn't profound, its blood and essence were extremely abundant and of high quality, greatly nourishing and enhancing the demon tree. In addition, the Phoenix King's soul was exquisite, surpassing the combined souls of countless demonic beasts and fierce beasts that Lin Yuan had previously devoured. While savoring the taste, Lin Yuan could suddenly sense 7 mighty presences rising from the depths of the Black Mist Mountain range. Enjoy exclusive adventures from these were the remaining 7 kings of the Black Mist Mountain range. 4 days as the Phoenix King's presence vanished. Initially these 7 kings thought the Phoenix King was cultivating some secret technique, hence they did not probe further. After all, in the eyes of these 7 kings, there were only a few individuals in the entire Tianqing world capable of silently dealing with the Phoenix King. And those few individuals were currently fending off the foreign evil god and would definitely not make a move. Therefore these 7 kings had been somewhat negligent. But now days had gone by, and the Phoenix King's aura had still not reappeared. Only then did the 7 kings sense something amiss. By the time they joined forces and headed to the Phoenix King's wind nest, if you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 338 Surprisingly, he discovered that the phoenix tree where the wind nest was located, as well as the valley, had completely vanished. Thus came the scene where 7 kings jointly erupted with their aura, searching for the Phoenix King. It still triggered the vigilance of the other 7 kings. Lin Yuan concealed his aura and silently observed the positions of those 7 kings, eventually realizing that they had converged together and were no longer separated. He sighed to himself. With this spatial prison he was currently using, confining 1 king would be no problem. 2 or 3 would be somewhat manageable, but 7? That would be somewhat beyond his abilities. There were 2 ways to break Lin Yuan's spatial prison. One was to have a spatial comprehension that surpassed Lin Yuan's. The other was to exert a force more than 10 times that of Lin Yuan. Under the combined full force of the 7 kings, leveraging their innate bloodline talents, the power they burst forth with was indeed more than 10 times that of Lin Yuan at the moment. Let's take it slow. If need be, he'll just spend more time understanding more core spatial models than go deal with them. Lin Yuan comforted himself internally. In the following time he planned to continue lying low, until he completely surpassed those 7 kings of the Black Mist Mountain range. Outside the Tianqing world, at an unknown height, spans countless branches of the ancestral demon tree, its terrifying and malevolent power permeating tens of thousands of miles around. These ants. The ancestral demon tree looked down at a battlefield next to the Tianqing world, where countless evil god puppets charged towards the inside of the world. But they were all blocked by the powerhouses within the Tianqing world. On the battlefield, a man in a blue robe was seated cross-legged, with a stone sword floating in front of him. If it weren't for the protection of the world, the ancestral demon tree stared at the stone sword for a while, thinking unwillingly. It's better to say that it was stopped by the countless powerhouses of the Tianqing world, rather than by the world itself. Both the resilient world barrier and that stone sword came from the Tianqing world itself. Just as the ancestral demon tree was considering whether to abandon this world, it suddenly sensed something under a casual induction. Decades ago, I expended Origin Source to scatter hundreds of thousands of seeds within the Tianqing world, and 1 seed managed to survive? The ancestral demon tree was somewhat astonished. Your next chapter awaits on initially, to open a rift in the Tianqing world, it had paid a price and subsequently scattered hundreds of thousands of seeds inside, aiming to create chaos in the backlands of the Tianqing world. Unfortunately, the ancestral demon tree still underestimated the suppression by the world itself. The hundreds of thousands of seeds it scattered did not grow, and with the passage of time, they successively died. The ancestral demon tree had already resigned itself to this fate. But now it sensed that one seed had survived. This sensation was very weak due to the interference of the world barrier, but as its offspring, the ancestral demon tree was very certain. Interesting. The ancestral demon tree pondered for a moment, then once again expended origin source. Following the indistinct connection, its consciousness began to cross over. Deep in the Black Mist Mountain range, Lin Yuan was assimilating the blood and spirit of the Phoenix King. At that moment, in the root area of the demon tree, the mass of pitch-black flames suddenly began to boil. The next moment, a spiritual fluctuation transmitted out from within the pitch-black flame. You survived. This spiritual fluctuation, though faint, was extremely profound. Almost instantly, Lin Yuan reacted that this spiritual fluctuation came from the ancestral demon tree outside the world. What to do now? Lin Yuan thought rapidly. Relying on the spiritual fluctuation from the ancestral demon tree, Lin Yuan judged that the other party was not aware of his specific situation. Lin Yuan's situation was far from being merely about surviving. He was nearly dominating the Black Mist Mountain range. Ancestor. Lin Yuan's tone was slightly respectful, as befits the posture of a legitimate descendant of the ancestral demon tree. I have indeed survived, but my current situation is rather difficult. I urgently need ancestors' help. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 339. Lin Yuan had never overlooked the ancestral demon tree because it was the progenitor of his own demon tree. The ancestral demon tree possessed an unimaginable control over any demon tree that grew from a demon seed. Read exclusive adventures that even if they were separated by an entire world, it could still perceive him vaguely, and with a price, exert even more methods. This was precisely why, after sensing that the ancestral demon tree was trying to contact him, Lin Yuan didn't make a move. Instead, he honestly portrayed the image of a demon tree that had snuck into the backlands of Tianqing world, surviving through hardships. Of course, Lin Yuan had also prepared for the worst-case scenario. If the ancestral demon tree noticed his abnormalities, growing to the 6th rank peak in just a few decades, the ancestral demon tree, unless it was a fool, would realize something was amiss. But obviously that hadn't happened, or the ancestral demon tree's first words wouldn't have been, "You survived." Actually, this was also normal. If the ancestral demon tree truly had the capability, despite being separated by a world, to completely understand everything about its offspring, it would willingly lower its consciousness instead of helplessly watching hundreds of thousands of demon tree seeds perish in the Tianqing world. Since he had decided to play the role of a loyal demon tree, Lin Yuan naturally wouldn't refrain from making demands. Lin Yuan clearly understood the purpose of the ancestral demon tree scattering hundreds of thousands of demon tree seeds into Tianqing world at a cost. It was to throw the Tianqing world's rear into chaos, and even become a guiding mark for the ancestral demon tree whose true body was outside the world. Yet under the suppression of the world, almost all of the hundreds of thousands of demon tree seeds had perished. If not for the consciousness descent of Lin Yuan, this demon tree would have died long ago. Thus, in the current Tianqing world, Lin Yuan had become the ancestral demon tree's only lone survivor. As long as the ancestral demon tree was thinking straight and still had designs on Tianqing world, it would inevitably take some actions to support Lin Yuan. If Lin Yuan died, then the ancestral demon tree would have to fall back on whittling away at the front lines to descend upon Tianqing world. According to the intelligence Lin Yuan had gathered over the years, the ancestral demon tree, facing the united forces of countless powerhouses from the Tianqing alliance outside the Tianqing world, was not gaining any advantage. In front of the Tianqing alliance, backed by a whole world, the ancestral demon tree, lacking any advantage, was effectively at a disadvantage and could not prolong the stalemate indefinitely. The situation is very bad. The ancestral demon tree did not doubt Lin Yuan's words. What a joke, almost all of the hundreds of thousands of demon seeds had died. Saying the situation was very bad was already putting it mildly. The actual situation was probably dire and desperate. Indeed, the ancestral demon tree had underestimated the suppression of the Tianqing world. "How do you want me to help you?" The ancestral demon tree asked Lin Yuan, following the connection between progenitor and offspring. As long as Lin Yuan was still alive, its initial plotting wouldn't be all for naught, and it would have another possibility of descending upon Tianqing world. At this thought, the ancestral demon tree couldn't help but feel a surge of joy. For 300 years, it had been in a deadlock with the Tianqing alliance, unable to make progress and even considered giving up on Tianqing world. After all, with the current situation, continuing the stalemate would not bring any change. Tianqing world was certainly a great supplement for it, but it had to be within reach. However, now Lin Yuan's survival had given it hope. Once Lin Yuan grew strong enough, it could simply create a direct space channel to the interior of Tianqing world, with the cooperation of Lin Yuan and the connection between progenitor and offspring. By then, with its essence as a foreign evil god, Tianqing world would have no power to resist, and everything would become its nourishment. "Ancestor, I want flesh, I want souls," Lin Yuan immediately said. This was also in line with the typical demands of a demon tree. The growth of a demon tree did not need the support of a realm. As long as there was sufficient flesh and souls, it could rapidly improve. Essentially, the demon tree originated from the ancestral demon tree. The former was an extension of the latter. Flesh and souls. The ancestral demon tree fell silent. Its true body was outside the world. Where was it supposed to find flesh and souls for Lin Yuan? Even if it really acquired flesh and souls, it wouldn't be able to send them in. Fine. Only this left to do. The ancestral demon tree pondered carefully for a moment. A decision had been made in its mind. Stimulated by the ancestral demon tree, a large mass of its demon essence split away. The demon essence was the most core power of the ancestral demon tree. Similarly, the demon essence was interconnected with the ancestral demon tree and its various methods with the offspring demon trees. With the connection between progenitor and offspring, the ancestral demon tree could transfer a portion of its demon essence to the offspring demon tree. Do bear in mind, the ancestral demon tree had never before bestowed origin power upon an offspring demon tree because it simply didn't pay off. If Lin Yuan weren't of great use to it, crucial to whether it could consume Tianqing world, the ancestral demon tree would definitely not pay such a price. This mass of demon essence could create an army of over 1 million evil god puppets. Deep in the Black Mist Mountain range, Lin Yuan patiently awaited the ancestral demon tree's response. Did I ask for too much? The silence of the ancestral demon tree made Lin Yuan feel somewhat puzzled. But the next moment, within the base region, amidst the cluster of burning pitch-black flames, a mass of dark power slowly emerged. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 340, What is this? Lin Yuan was startled in his heart. At the moment this deep-colored power appeared, he felt his body begin to tremble, generating a kind of yearning. It was the origin source of the ancestral demon tree. For a demon tree like himself, it was the power he most desired to absorb. It was countless times stronger than those flesh and souls. Devouring flesh and souls required the transformation through the demon tree itself. But the origin source of the ancestral demon tree, that was the purest power, which could nearly infinitely increase the strength of the demigod progeny. Theoretically, as long as this kind of power was sufficient, the demigod progeny could completely grow to the level of the ancestral demon tree. This massive origin source will be enough for your cultivation for a while. Do not disappoint me. The spiritual fluctuations emitted by the ancestral demon tree seemed somewhat exhausted. After speaking, it broke off contact with Lin Yuan. It needed to constantly draw upon the power of the void to replenish its own losses. Origin power of the ancestor? Lin Yuan looked at the deep-colored power, suppressing the yearning in his heart. To bestow such important origin power, are you not planning to let me live? A trace of cold laughter emerged in Lin Yuan's heart. On the surface, it appeared that the ancestral demon tree was making such a great sacrifice to ensure the survival of its offspring. In reality, it was just a transfer from the left hand to the right. As long as the ancestral demon tree could ultimately descend upon the Tianqing world, it could completely devour Lin Yuan, the demon tree, and recover the previously invested origin power. For an ancestral demon tree, a foreign evil god, being brutal and evil was its true nature. Its offspring were merely tools. But when the time comes, it's not certain who will devour whom. Lin Yuan slightly shook his head. The ancestral demon tree wanted to devour Lin Yuan, but Lin Yuan also harbored thoughts of devouring the ancestral demon tree. Lin Yuan was quite curious about such a foreign evil god. The present demon tree was merely a demigod progeny, far from a true foreign evil god. With the origin power sent by the ancestral demon tree, Lin Yuan once again entered a period of rapid growth. Originally, Lin Yuan thought that after dealing with the Phoenix King, facing the remaining 7 kings who were banding together, he would lie low for a while. But the ancestral demon tree was too supportive, sending over such a huge mass of origin, almost equivalent to the volume of dozens of Phoenix Kings. And in terms of the purity of power, the origin power of the ancestral demon tree was leagues beyond those demon beast kings. 1. This kind of origin power is the fundamental power of a foreign evil god. 2. The ancestors' origin power and Lin Yuan were from the same source, and there was almost no need for any transformation. This is truly comfortable. Lin Yuan continually absorbed the origin power, feeling that every branch and trunk of the demon tree was undergoing a metamorphosis. This transformation was fundamental. The demon tree Lin Yuan occupied began to change towards the true body of the ancestral demon tree outside this world. Subsequently, Lin Yuan couldn't be bothered to continue hunting the demonic beasts in the Black Mist Mountain range. Instead, when the origin power was absorbed after some time, he would proactively contact the ancestral demon tree to ask for more. Facing Lin Yuan's request for help, the ancestral demon tree was extremely generous, almost granting whatever was requested. And with the full support of the ancestral demon tree, Lin Yuan's growth speed was getting faster and faster. In the depths of the Black Mist Mountain range, Lin Yuan's spirit was entirely focused on the root area, above that clump of pitch-black flames. This clump of pitch-black flames is the core used by the ancestral demon tree to control its offspring, isn't it? Lin Yuan stared at the pitch-black flames, thinking to himself. The ancestral demon tree was able to contact him and send the origin power through this clump of pitch-black flames. And the demon tree that Lin Yuan currently occupied was controlled all over, except for this clump of pitch-black flames, which still remained in Lin Yuan's blind spot. Every time Lin Yuan attempted to refine this clump of pitch-black flames, he would vaguely perceive an immense risk from the unknown. Does the ancestral demon tree comply with my every demand, providing as much origin power as I want because of this? Lin Yuan thought silently to himself. Rewebno. Si Sigma M. The ancestral demon tree met his demands not only because the growth of Lin Yuan was indeed useful, capable of helping the ancestral demon tree cross the battlefield outside the world and descend directly into the interior of the Tianqing world. The most crucial matter was that the ancestral demon tree could master Lin Yuan's death with just a thought. And the means to do so was through this cluster of dark flames. Add to that the absolute loyalty of the demon tree's progeny towards the ancestral demon tree. Under all these factors, it was what led to such a supportive strength from the ancestral demon tree. In the eyes of the ancestral demon tree, everything it had bestowed upon Lin Yuan could be taken back with virtually no loss. Unable to refine, Lin Yuan carefully observed the dark flames. He discovered that he had no capability to refine them at all. The moment he slightly touched the dark flames, he would be detected by the ancestral demon tree. Then it shall be sealed. Lin Yuan continued to observe the dark flames. The area where the dark flames were located was deep within Lin Yuan's roots. Their influence on Lin Yuan was nothing more than several types, namely a sudden explosion, completely destroying the main trunk of the roots. Therefore, sealing them was the best choice. As for the method of sealing, it required Lin Yuan to use his against heaven's understanding to create one based on his own detailed circumstances, and the state of the dark flames. Time passed. In the blink of an eye, another 10 years had gone by. Sealing complete. Lin Yuan's mind converged in front of the dark flames in the root area. Threads of power, like a spider's web, formed countless layers, slowly enveloping the cluster of dark flames. Suddenly all the forces were hidden deep in the space. After 10 years of contemplation, Lin Yuan finally managed to conceive a method that completely sealed the dark flames using his against heaven's understanding. This method consisted of 63 core space rules, and with just a thought from Lin Yuan, space could be isolated. No matter what changes occurred in the cluster of dark flames, it would be impossible to affect Lin Yuan's true body. Finally, it is done. Lin Yuan let out a slight sigh of relief. Once the sealing was successful, Lin Yuan could say he was officially free from the control of the ancestral demon tree. Of course, the ancestral demon tree was unaware of this. In the eyes of such a foreign evil god, its offspring were absolutely loyal to it. There was no possibility of any betrayal. Probably in its wildest dreams, the ancestral demon tree would never have imagined there to be someone like Lin Yuan. 10 years of cultivation. After performing the sealing skill, Lin Yuan's perception spread in all directions. These 10 years creating the sealing skill had only taken up a small portion of Lin Yuan's time. Besides, Lin Yuan had gained even more. The first was his strength. Lin Yuan now had stepped into the 7th rank. Based on Lin Yuan's previous estimates, breaking through to the 7th rank would require at least 50 to 100 years. But the ancestral demon tree was too generous, constantly feeding him origin source, which allowed Lin Yuan to cross this phase of cultivation in just 10 years. A 7th rank demon tree's roots would spread far and wide, nearly covering the entire Black Mist Mountain range, with millions of miles within Lin Yuan's control. Apart from the deepest parts of the Black Mist Mountain range, the regions where the 7 kings resided, Lin Yuan's control over the Black Mist Mountain range was probably unprecedented. The entire Black Mist Mountain range, how many demonic beasts and ferocious beasts there were, even how many purple-eyed rabbits there were, all fell under Lin Yuan's observation. One could say that anything that happened within the Black Mist Mountain range could not be hidden from Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan now possessed a semblance of the splendor of the ancestral demon tree from beyond this world, which contested the Tianqing world with its own power. Space. Lin Yuan sensed the surroundings. Over the decades, Lin Yuan's contemplation of the core space models also made great strides. Space is everywhere with vast applicability. The sealing skill that Lin Yuan had conceived was also based on numerous core space models. Lin Yuan now had a complete understanding of 267 core space models, his comprehension of space even surpassing that of ordinary 8th layer evolvers. You should know, a newly advanced 8th rank evolver typically only comprehends a few, at most a few dozen, core space models. Lin Yuan's mastery of over 200 core space models could be estimated as equivalent to hundreds to thousands of years of arduous cultivation for an ordinary 8th rank evolver. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 341. If I return now to the main world, the size of my inner world would likely exceed 100 miles, or even several hundred miles, Lin Yuan secretly thought. Normally, for someone newly advanced to the 8th rank, their inner world would reach a span of 100 miles. Along with continuous practice at the 8th rank, the inner world will slowly grow. The expansion primarily depends on the understanding of the space rules. It is also about comprehending more of the core space models, leading to a more stable spatial foundation in the inner world, which would facilitate easier expansion. If one lacks sufficient understanding of space and forcibly expands the inner world, it might cause its collapse. But with Lin Yuan's current understanding of the space rules, expanding his inner world to several hundred miles would be easy. An inner world of several hundred miles, even though Lin Yuan has only just entered the 7th rank, would allow him to contend with someone at the newly advanced 8th rank with the vast power of his world. 7th stage martial Tao. Lin Yuan's expression fell into brief contemplation. Over these years, he had devoted much of his time to refining and perfecting the 7th rank chapter of the martial path evolutionary path. After all, Lin Yuan was well aware that his foundation was still the martial arts evolution system, though the cultivation system of the demon tree was only temporary. Initial cultivation of entities like the ancestral demon tree, and foreign evil god, is swift, but it harbors many dangers. It is nowhere as steadily progressive and inherently righteous as the martial arts evolution system. Now I've basically completed the marquee stage of the 7th rank chapter, the next step is the king level, Lin Yuan secretly thought. The many evolution paths in the main world divide the 7th rank into 3 stages. Marquee. King. Lin Yuan applied the same 3 stages to his 7th stage martial Tao chapter. Completing the marquee stage equates to finishing 1/3 of the 7th rank chapter. The only stages left are king and king. It's about time to make a move. Lin Yuan glanced towards the deepest part of the Black Mist Mountain range. Since the Phoenix King disappeared, the remaining 7 kings of the mountain range had gathered together. This act thwarted Lin Yuan's plan to defeat them one by one. For nearly a decade, Lin Yuan's roots permeated every corner of the Black Mist Mountain range, except for its deepest part. He was concerned it might startle the snake. But now, with Lin Yuan's strength, those 7 kings could be suppressed with a counterattack. At the deepest part of the Black Mist Mountain range, 7 colossal beings stood there. Their terrifying presence pervaded. Ordinary demonic beasts, let alone approaching, would tremble in fear just by sensing a fraction of this atmosphere. These 7 colossal beings are the 7 kings of the Black Mist Mountain range. Together with the previous Phoenix King, they are known as the Black Mist 8 Kings, having been the absolute rulers of the mountain range for many long years. However, at this moment, the atmosphere among these 7 kings was heavy, their expressions and eyes filled with worry. Where could the Phoenix King have gone? It has been 10 years without a trace. The divine ape king spoke softly, his massive voice vibrating in all directions. Upon hearing this, the rest of the 6 kings exchanged glances. They too were curious about the whereabouts of the Phoenix King. 10 years ago, the Phoenix King suddenly disappeared, taking with it a phoenix tree in Earthflame Valley, resulting in ominous thoughts among them. That was why. For the past 10 years, the 7 kings have stayed together, never separating, all to guard against something. But this can't go on forever. It's been 10 years since the Phoenix King disappeared, and it likely met with misfortune. We can't just keep waiting. In a moment, I will go out and meet with the Tianqing Alliance leader to inquire if he is aware of this matter. The leading Colossus King finally spoke out. Among the 8 kings of the Black Mist, the Colossus King, with the blood of ancient divine elephants flowing within, is the leader. Right. Go and ask the Tianqing Alliance leader. Indeed, even if the leader doesn't know, he should investigate. I want to see who would dare to strike against the Black Mist mountain range. The other demon beast kings discussed amongst themselves. The Tianqing Alliance leader, being the strongest in the Tianqing world, is a major force against the foreign evil gods. Given the character of the Tianqing Alliance leader, he would not allow internal strife in the Tianqing world when there should be unity against external forces. However, before anything was confirmed, they dared not casually contact the Tianqing Alliance leader. If they just reported to the Tianqing Alliance and the Phoenix King returned soon after, it would be awkward. They might even be held accountable by the leader. But 10 years have passed with no news of the Phoenix King, so it was time to report to the Tianqing Alliance leader. Let's go. Let's go together. The 7 demon beast kings got up, ready to fly outside. Suddenly, the giant elephant king's expression subtly shifted. There's something outside. The giant elephant king's form froze, his gaze intensely scanning the surroundings. Something wrong? Hearing this, the other 6 kings immediately became alert. The next moment, a black vine descended from the sky. The divine ape king's face changed dramatically, his instincts urging him to dodge. Although unclear what the black vine was, the instinct of a demon beast king made the divine ape king want to keep away. However, at that moment, the divine ape king's movements seemed to slow down numerous times. More precisely, the space around the divine ape king appeared to stretch many times over, turning what should have been a steppable distance into one where hundreds of steps still spun in place. Whoosh! The black vine quickly engulfed the divine ape king and dragged him upwards. The giant elephant king and the other 6 demon beast kings could clearly see the divine ape king still desperately struggling while entwined by the black vine. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 342. But it was all in vain, as he was rapidly dragged away without the capacity to resist. What is that? It was only at this moment that the giant elephant king and the other 5 demon beast kings noticed an imposing ancient tree standing not far away, the presence of which was previously unknown to them. The ancient tree, black in color, towered unimaginably high and was shrouded in an evil, chaotic aura. Just now, it was one of this tree's countless vines that had dragged away the divine ape king. This is bad. The giant elephant king and the other demon beast kings felt their scalps explode. They had no idea when such a monstrous tree had appeared next to their lairs. If the divine ape king, with his strength, couldn't withstand even one of its countless vines, how powerful was the entire tree? As for the evil, chaotic aura that the ancient god emitted, the minds of the giant elephant king and the other 5 demon beast kings were in complete disarray, with no time to consider it carefully. In the hearts of the 6 demon beast kings, there was only one thought. That was, run. Run as far as possible. Boom. The 6 terrifyingly powerful demon beast kings. Almost simultaneously, they dashed in 6 different directions. Even in such a state of utter panic, the demon beast kings instinctively chose different paths. This way they could at least distract the attention of the terrifying ancient tree. Rustle. 6 black vines descended from the towering ancient tree. 5 of the demon beast kings struggled briefly against the entwining vines but were quickly dragged away just like the divine ape king. Only the giant elephant king. Break. The massive body of the giant elephant king burst forth with earth-shaking power. As a descendant of the ancient gods, the giant elephant king inherited part of the formidable life force of the ancient gods. The ancient gods, it is said, did not originate from the Tianqing world but came from beyond its realms. It was precisely because of the talents of the ancient gods that the giant elephant king was able to overpower the other 7 kings of the Black Mist Mountain range and secure the throne of the strongest demon beast king. In fact, not just in the Black Mist Mountain range, in the other 9 mountain ranges of the Tianqing world and among the dozens of other demon beast kings, the power of the giant elephant king was also considered terrifying, ranking within the top 3 or even number 1. Rumble. Faced with the black vines that easily dragged away 6 demon beast kings, the full potential of the giant elephant king was forced out, his blood boiled, and a huge phantom of a sacred elephant appeared behind him. Under the furious outbreak of the giant elephant king, the black vines slowly shattered. Did he break free? The expression of the giant elephant king turned wildly ecstatic. From the moment the divine ape king was dragged away by the black vines to when the 6 demon beast kings fell into the same fate. To the giant elephant king, the black vines were like the grim reaper, exuding an immense oppressive force. However now, with the giant elephant king unleashing his full potential and employing dozens of secret techniques to enhance his power, he had finally shattered the black vine, ensuring he wouldn't be dragged away like the other demon beast kings. My power, my lineage. The giant elephant king had barely felt joy when he suddenly turned his head and desperately discovered hundreds, thousands of black vines sweeping towards him. The face of the giant elephant king turned ashen. He had hardly broken one black vine at a tremendous cost, only for hundreds or thousands of them to appear as soon as he turned around. How was he supposed to cope? Overwhelmed by despair, this time the giant elephant king didn't put up any resistance. Instead, he nearly leapt into the midst of the black vines voluntarily, and then was dragged away. Yes, from today on, the Black Mist Mountain range is completely mine. Lin Yuan's figure rapidly shrank, influenced by space rules. Even the 7 enormous demon beast kings also began to shrink quickly. Wrapped in black vines hanging below the branches. Lin Yuan glanced at the 7 demon beast kings who had fallen into a deep sleep, with no intention to devour them. If it had been before the ancestral demon tree had made contact, facing such delicacies as the demon beast kings, Lin Yuan would have chosen to devour them immediately. Just like he had swallowed the Phoenix King. To quickly enhance his own strength and foundation. But with the feeding from the ancestral demon tree, Lin Yuan lost interest in these ordinary flesh and souls. Even if these demon beast kings were strong and their vitality vigorous, could they really compare to the origin power of the ancestral demon tree? There was no comparison at all. The origin power of the ancestral demon tree was the core strength of a foreign evil god. Theoretically, as long as Lin Yuan devoured enough origin power of the ancestor, he could replace the ancestral demon tree and become a standalone foreign evil god. Let them stay for now, they'll be useful later, he said. Lin Yuan did not kill those 7 demon beast kings. In future schemes he might find a use for them. For now he just left them there. At this moment, with the 7 demon beast kings plunged into deep sleep, they were as good as dead, not affecting Lin Yuan's subsequent actions. Let's begin, he said. With a slight movement of Lin Yuan's mind, having dealt with the 7 demon beast kings, Lin Yuan, with no one left to fear, began to spread his roots toward the deepest parts of the Black Mist Mountain range. There's a large spirit vein here, no wonder those demon beast kings considered this area as their stronghold. Lin Yuan's roots penetrated deep into the ground, ensnaring that abundant spirit vein, and began slowly devouring the pure spiritual power within it. If the origin power fed by the ancestral demon tree was the main course, then this large spirit vein was like a soup before the meal, just something casual to change the taste. Several days later, Lin Yuan's roots had completely covered the deepest parts of the Black Mist Mountain range. That is to say, the Black Mist Mountain range, spanning millions of miles, was entirely under the control of Lin Yuan's roots. At this moment, Lin Yuan had truly become the uncrowned king of the Black Mist Mountain range, far surpassing the uncrowned king title of the past demon beast kings. After all, the previous demon beast kings of the Black Mist Mountain range only nominally ruled the area, but Lin Yuan substantively controlled it, with his roots spread throughout every corner of the mountain range. Ancestor, the environment of the Black Mist Mountain range is terribly harsh. Just recently a few powerful demonic beasts nearly attacked me, Ewenvel. Calm Lin Yuan's mind sank into the root area as he typically complained to the ancestral demon tree. The Black Mist Mountain range. It's teeming with demonic beasts and is extremely dangerous. You really had it tough, comforted the ancestral demon tree. Having fought with countless cultivators from Tianqing world until now, it had come to understand much information about the world. Among them, the Black Mist Mountain Range was one of the top 10 demonic beast mountain ranges of the Tianqing world, undoubtedly dangerous. In the eyes of the ancestral demon tree, the mere survival of Lin Yuan in the Black Mist Mountain Range was already a miracle. "Here, he'll give you some more origin power for self-protection," said the ancestral demon tree after some thought. Lin Yuan was its last hope for descending into the Tianqing world. How could it let him die at the hands of those beasts of the Black Mist Mountain Range? "Thank you, ancestor," Lin Yuan said gratefully. Indeed, in the view of Lin Yuan, the ancestral demon tree was somewhat in a dilemma. Over these 10 years, the ancestral demon tree had invested a vast amount of origin power into Lin Yuan. This origin power could only be recouped once the ancestral demon tree descended into the Tianqing world. But to descend into the Tianqing world, it needed to continue feeding Lin Yuan origin power, putting the ancestral demon tree in an awkward situation. If it had been before contacting Lin Yuan, the ancestral demon tree was not so set on acquiring the Tianqing world. Being able to descend was naturally good. If it was otherwise unable to descend and the situation became deadlocked, leaving would also not involve substantial loss. But now, if the ancestral demon tree chose to leave, the losses would be significant, as so much of its origin power was within Lin Yuan. If it gave up on the Tianqing world, it would likely not recover for thousands, perhaps tens of thousands of years. Losses are only temporary, the vision must be long-term. As long as I can descend into the Tianqing world, any great losses can be recouped and devouring an entire world's origin would be greatly beneficial to me. With this mindset, the ancestral demon tree again allocated some of its origin, sending it to Lin Yuan. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 343, Thank You Ancestor. Having obtained another large mass of origin source, Lin Yuan immediately expressed his gratitude. Enjoy exclusive content from FreeWeb novel. Lin Yuan's gratitude was indeed heartfelt. In the past 5 travels he had relied mostly on himself, even during the 5th travel, where he became a background celestial of the 3rd generation. Most of the resources Lin Yuan needed for his cultivation were also largely dependent on his yin spirit and yang spirit adventuring outside. However, now, as long as Lin Yuan voiced his hardships, the ancestral demon tree, despite the consumption, would actively send over the origin source. Of course, Lin Yuan was aware. The ancestral demon tree did this completely using him. Should he successfully arrive in the Tianqing world, he guessed he would be the first to die. Over the years, the origin source the ancestral demon tree had invested in him naturally had to be recouped. Just as the ancestral demon tree was thinking of devouring Lin Yuan was similarly contemplating devouring the ancestral demon tree. At present, the existence of the ancestral demon tree brought far more benefits than drawbacks to Lin Yuan, equivalent to an inexhaustible treasury of cultivation. Moreover, Lin Yuan had already resolved the control the ancestral demon tree had over its offspring demon trees using the sealing skill, leading to no fundamental risks at all. Cultivate well. Grow to the 5th stage as soon as possible. The spiritual fluctuations emitted by the ancestral demon tree contained an encouraging tone, as if a gentle elder was earnestly instructing. The growth of the demon tree, unlike normal cultivators, is in stages. Specifically, the 1st stage, 2nd stage, 3rd stage. The ancestral demon tree itself was in the 8th stage, being a powerful evil god from beyond territories. The offspring demon tree is an extension of the ancestral demon tree, with an inexplicable connection between them. Once the offspring demon tree grows to the 5th stage, its life essence would be sufficient to establish a spatial passage with the ancestral demon tree. At that point, the ancestral demon tree could enter the Tianqing world through another method. This was also the final scheme of the ancestral demon tree, as forcefully entering the Tianqing world under the current circumstances was unrealistic. Ancestor, rest assured. I will definitely strive to grow. Your glory will soon envelop this world, and then, all beings will submit at the feet of the ancestor. Lin Yuan was also painting a picture for the ancestral demon tree. He had no choice. If the ancestral demon tree abandoned the Tianqing world and fled now, Lin Yuan could only watch helplessly. So he could only keep the ancestral demon tree hopeful about the immediate prospect, along with the earlier investments creating a sunk cost. This could securely bind the ancestral demon tree outside the world. Naturally. As long as we can occupy this world, I might as well grant you freedom and let you become a new evil god, the ancestral demon tree said seriously. In fact, the ancestral demon tree never intended to let Lin Yuan live. Are you kidding? After consuming so much of my origin source, you still want to live? But some things can't be said so directly, even when facing its offspring, for which a single thought could decide life or death. It also needs to pay attention to some formalities. And so, the two demon trees with different intentions severed their connection. In the depths of the Black Mist Mountain range, Lin Yuan pondered the information recently revealed by the ancestral demon tree. The fifth stage, Lin Yuan thought to himself, the growth of a demon tree and cultivating are different matters. It relates to strength but is not entirely about strength. For example, right now Lin Yuan possessed the power of the 7th rank, but in the growth stages of a demon tree he was still at the 6th stage. With the world barrier in place and with my own aura concealed, the ancestral demon tree cannot detect which exact stage I've grown into, Lin Yuan secretly thought. The Tianqing world was very cautious about guarding against the ancestral demon tree, decades ago, to pry open a crack in the barrier of the Tianqing world to drop demon seeds. The ancestral demon tree paid a tremendous price. And since then, the defense measures of the Tianqing world against the ancestral demon tree had gone up a notch. So, the ancestral demon tree's perception of Lin Yuan was actually quite limited, plus the many concealment techniques Lin Yuan figured out himself were virtually foolproof. On the battlefield outside the world, the Tianqing alliance has been winning recently. Lin Yuan's gaze shifted, looking towards a direction where countless Tianqing alliance experts were battling with evil god puppets. Free novel. It wasn't surprising to Lin Yuan that the Tianqing alliance was gaining an upper hand on the battlefield. In the past decade, to fund Lin Yuan, the ancestral demon tree had sent over so much of its own origin power. As a result, reducing its strength and the number of evil god puppets it could produce. Strictly speaking, although Lin Yuan was an offspring of the ancestral demon tree, he contributed to the Tianqing world, diminishing the power of the ancestral demon tree. With the Tianqing alliance gaining the upper hand on the battlefield outside the world, the credit largely belonged to Lin Yuan. Outside the Tianqing world, the colossal ancestral demon tree stood towering in the void, its numerous vines swaying, spreading a terrifying demon realm in all directions. And opposite the ancestral demon tree stood 13 figures side by side. It was the leader of the Tianqing alliance and the 12 vice alliance hierarchs. The leader of the Tianqing alliance, being the strongest in the Tianqing world, wielded the sword of the world, nearly able to unleash the combat power of the 8th rank. As for the 12 vice alliance hierarchs, they were all of the 7th rank, not to be underestimated. Evil God die. The leader of the Tianqing alliance grasped the stone sword and slashed at the ancestral demon tree. With a rip, a vast force of space was torn apart, forming spatial turbulence, carrying with it the might of the void. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 344 The ancestral demon tree, still massive in form, swayed its countless black tendrils just enough to block the sword strike. If it weren't for this world, you ants, where would you get the audacity to stand before me? The ancestral demon tree emitted a vast spiritual fluctuation. What it feared most was the stone longsword in the hands of the Tianqing alliance leader. That was the world sword, nurtured by the Tianqing world over countless millennia, which under normal circumstances should remain dormant deep within the world, turning with the world's rotations. Yet this time the invasion of the ancestral demon tree made the Tianqing world extremely vigilant, prompting it to unhesitatingly release the stone longsword to join forces with Tianqing's strongest fighters to resist the invasion by the foreign evil god. After a bitter battle, the ancestral demon tree retreated on its own accord. Regarding this, the Tianqing alliance leader and the 12 vice alliance hierarchs could only relent. Near the Tianqing world, they could contend with the ancestral demon tree, but stepping away from the Tianqing world would be suicidal. The stone longsword in the hands of the Tianqing alliance leader grew more potent the closer it was to the Tianqing world. By the same principle, the farther away one was from the Tianqing world, the less potent it became, eventually no different from an ordinary longsword. Alliance leader, have you noticed the foreign evil god seems much weaker this time? A vice alliance hierarch pondered for a moment before speaking up. Indeed. The Tianqing alliance leader nodded. Since the invasion of the ancestral demon tree began, they had fought it every 4 or 5 decades. Protected by the stone longsword, they could well manage a fight-to-fight basis against the ancestral demon tree. But this time the ancestral demon tree didn't engage them in battle. And from the few skirmishes they had, they faintly perceived the ancestral demon tree's weakness. What exactly is going on? Is the evil god doing this deliberately to lure us? The Tianqing Alliance leader was somewhat perplexed. The ancestral demon tree's diminished strength was completely baffling since they had never managed to strike at its core. Rewebno. Sigmam, how could its strength decrease so inexplicably? Therefore, the Tianqing Alliance leader's first reaction was to suspect whether the ancestral demon tree was intentionally showing weakness to lure them into a trap. In the deepest part of the Black Mist Mountain range, Lin Yuan felt the details of the surroundings for a while. He then continued with his contemplation. Your against heaven's understanding is discerning the demonic seeds, enhancing their parasitic essence. Your against heaven's understanding is discerning the demonic seeds, enhancing their parasitic essence. Your against heaven's understanding is discerning the demonic seeds, enhancing their parasitic essence. In front of Lin Yuan, several gray fuzzy seeds floated. As a talented method of demon trees, the demonic seeds had many effects. Among them, the parasitic ability was particularly valued by Lin Yuan. However, the original parasitic ability of the demonic seeds was too crude, making the parasitized beings look like zombies, too evident in their behavior. Therefore, for the past several decades, Lin Yuan dedicated some time each day to refine the flaws of the demonic seeds. I've made preliminary improvements. Let's see how effective it is. Lin Yuan glanced at a nearby demon beast king entangled by black tendrils. Lin Yuan kept these demon beast kings alive because they were useful, and it was the perfect time to test the parasitic ability of the demonic seeds. As for why not to first parasitize lower-ranking demonic beasts, parasitizing lower-ranking demonic beasts would merely waste Lin Yuan's seeds. The effectiveness of the demonic parasitic ability entirely depends on the strength of the host. If the host possesses 5th rank strength after the parasitism, it could still largely retain 5th rank strength. If the host has only 1st rank strength after parasitism, it remains at the 1st rank, and what use is that to Lin Yuan? In Lin Yuan's eyes, within the whole Black Mist Mountain range, only the few 6th rank demon beast kings barely held value for parasitism. Rustle. A black tendril loosened. A demon beast king fell. During its fall, the beast's body rapidly enlarged, and by the time it hit the ground, it had become a massive creature. Where is this? This demon beast king was the divine ape king. Having been unconscious for so long, it was now awake and confused for a moment. No wrong. Only a few breaths had passed when the divine ape king realized what was happening, and his expression immediately tensed. Turning his head, he found himself beneath that terrifying ancient tree, and a chill ran through his heart. The divine ape king instinctively thought to flee, but found that his body was pervaded by an evil power, under which even the slightest movement was extremely difficult, let alone running. Just as the divine ape king was contemplating whether to say a few words, a gray dusty seed fell from a branch, quickly heading toward him. What is that? Although the divine ape king was unable to move, he instinctively sensed danger. The gray dusty seed landed straight on the forehead of the divine ape king, and then roots quickly sprouted from the surface of the seed, embedding themselves in his forehead. Ah! The divine ape king let out a painful roar. At that moment, his head felt as though it had exploded, and his consciousness even began to blur. This seed, does it want to replace me? Suddenly, a great terror surged in the heart of the divine ape king. The gray, dusty seed, now rooting in his brain, was slowly expelling his original consciousness and attempting to usurp his place. Read exclusive content at FreeWebNovel. No. I don't want this. The divine ape king struggled fiercely. Compared with being replaced, complete death felt like a release. The divine ape king resisted fiercely, gathering the remaining force in his consciousness to charge at the demonic parasite. However, regrettably, at that moment, the entire body of the divine ape king was suppressed by Lin Yuan's power, leaving behind just a trace of the power of his consciousness. How could it possibly resist the demonic parasite? Just half a day had passed, and the consciousness of the divine ape king completely collapsed. The demonic parasite had successfully rooted itself. Outside, Lin Yuan was observing the changes in the divine ape king. Master. Just then, the divine ape king slowly rose from the ground and bowed slightly towards Lin Yuan. The parasitic process went smoothly. Lin Yuan could clearly sense the presence of the demonic parasite deep in the brain of the divine ape king. Master, I now possess all the memories of the Divine Ape King, along with every ability and skill. The Divine Ape King began to report. Half an hour later, Lin Yuan sent the Divine Ape King away. The current Divine Ape King had been completely replaced by the demonic parasite, leaving no concern regarding fidelity. Not bad. Lin Yuan nodded slightly. From observing the behavior and reactions of the replaced Divine Ape King, with just a bit more attention, there was essentially no difference from the original Divine Ape King. At the very least, it was far better than initially, when victims of demonic parasite infestation appeared vacant and stiff. The current demonic parasite not only perfectly integrated into the host's body but also acquired all of their memories. It could nearly reach the level of authentic deception. However, there are still some flaws. Continue to refine. Lin Yuan pondered for a while, deciding to spend the following time perfecting it with against heaven's understanding. The reason Lin Yuan devoted such effort to parasitism was to prepare for the proliferation of martial Tao later on. Unfortunately, the appearance of the demon tree wasn't great, so Lin Yuan needed to find some spokespersons. And these spokespersons had to be absolutely loyal to Lin Yuan, perfectly suiting the parasitic ability of the demonic parasite. Martial Tao. Lin Yuan's thoughts surged, limited here due to the very nature of the demon tree. He hadn't embarked on the martial Tao. But everything he was doing was paving the way for martial Tao, and spreading the martial path evolutionary path was the main plan for the next few hundred years. Continue to cultivate. Lin Yuan immersed his mind in cultivation, and the inner qi within his body grew increasingly terrifying, like an unfathomably vast ocean. No one knew, including the invincible Tianqing Alliance leader Ancestral Demon Tree. In the absolutely safe rear of Tianqing world, changes were happening that could overturn the current situation. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 345, Name, Demon Tree Lin Yuan. Identity, Holder of the Myriad Realms Gate, Bound Talent, Heaven-Defying Comprehension, Divine Power, Blood Resurrection, Current Status, Consciousness Descent. Remaining Residency Time, 500 years? Another 30 years have passed. In the depths of the Black Mist Mountain Range, Lin Yuan had transformed into a demon tree. Although only 100 meters tall, his roots had already spread across tens of millions of miles. Even the 100-meter height was the result of Lin Yuan actively suppressing his growth. If he chose to unleash his full size, he could easily swell by 10 million times, blotting out the sun. Master. Just then, a bird with azure feathers flew over and landed on Lin Yuan's trunk. This azure-feathered bird, in comparison to Lin Yuan, had a very insignificant presence, but if placed outside, it would also be a king among demonic beasts, commanding tens of thousands of powerful creatures. The situation is all normal. The azure-feathered bird spoke with respect. This particular azure-feathered bird had naturally been parasitized long ago by a demon seed, rendering it absolutely loyal to Lin Yuan. In some ways, the azure-feathered bird was no different from Lin Yuan's incarnation, replaced by the demon tree seed, and whenever Lin Yuan wished, read exclusive adventures at FreeWeb Novel, he could use it as his vessel for a distant descent of his consciousness. Do not be complacent. Lin Yuan cautioned. Rest assured, Master, the azure-feathered bird immediately responded. Its tone and demeanor were now indistinguishable from that of normal demon beast kings. Over the past 30 years, Lin Yuan had made significant progress on the parasitism of the demon seed. A parasitized being could hardly be distinguished by appearance from others. Even their mannerisms and memories of their original life remained unchanged. They indeed reached a degree of deception that was convincingly real. Although it wasn't right to say it was real, essentially, the life that had been parasitized by the demon seed was still alive. It was just under the subconscious influence of the demon seed, regarding Lin Yuan as the object of absolute loyalty. The talent of the foreign evil god is truly unimaginable, Lin Yuan thought to himself. In fact, this was Lin Yuan overthinking. The parasitic technique of the ancestral demon tree had major flaws, the parasitized had many limiting conditions, and even if the parasitism was ultimately successful, it couldn't mimic the original body. The movements were extremely stiff, and the gaze was vacant, only suitable for use as cannon fodder. The parasitic ability that Lin Yuan now perfected, rather than saying the foreign evil god was terrifying, it was more appropriate to say his own heaven-defying comprehension was terrifying. This ability to deduce further advancements based on known substances, to go beyond by leaps and bounds, that was truly unimaginable. However, within the Tianqing world, any being with a bit of strength has been summoned to battlefields beyond this world. Currently within Tianqing world, except for those demon beast kings, there are no other lives worth parasitizing. Lin Yuan sighed. The perfected parasitic technique, although capable of perfectly replacing the host, likewise the crafting difficulty of the demon seed core increased significantly. If it were merely the initial form of parasitism, Lin Yuan could, in a mere thought, condense tens or hundreds of thousands of demon seeds. But now it took Lin Yuan half a year just to condense one. The demon seeds Lin Yuan had condensed, apart from those used on the 7 demon beast kings within the Black Mist Mountain range. The rest numbered just 36. And Lin Yuan had a faint feeling that such demon seeds could only exist up to a maximum of 100 at the same time. Simply put, the perfected demon seeds, whether having already parasitized other lives or yet to parasitize, when added together, could only amount to a maximum of 100. To condense the 101st, it would be necessary to wait for a parasitized being to die and the demon seed to be destroyed. Even then, the total number of demon seeds would remain at 100. Why is that? Is it due to rules? Or constraints of the Great Tao? Lin Yuan appeared contemplative. This phenomenon also often occurred in the main world universe starry sky. Those special beings, whose talents were powerful and had a high starting point, and precisely because of it, such special lives were very rare. Was it that these special beings didn't want to reproduce or have offspring? That wasn't the case. It was either impossible to reproduce or very difficult. In comparison, human civilization was much easier to proliferate, but individual humans possessed practically no talents and had a very low starting point. A first-rank evolver already stood above 99% of humans. It was because of the increased difficulty in condensing demon tree seeds that Lin Yuan had not continued with further parasitism. Surely he couldn't just randomly parasitize any person of this realm? That would be too wasteful. Lin Yuan's parasitic targets must at least be 6th rank. Anything less would be a waste with no value for parasitism. Yet, after such a long time, apart from awakening the demon seed talent, why haven't I awakened any other abilities? Lin Yuan fell into brief contemplation. As the ancestor demon tree, a sinister god that dominated the foreign realms and used worlds as food, could it really have only the demon seed talent? Just the thought made it seem unlikely. If it only had the demon tree seed, how could the ancestral demon tree hold out for so long against countless strong foes of the Tianqing world beyond the realm? Over the years, through constant investigation, Lin Yuan also understood the basic configuration of the Tianqing World Alliance. Throb novel. Firstly, it was the Tianqing Alliance hierarch at the 7th rank peak with the World Sword, capable of exhibiting 8th layer combat power. Next were the 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs, all 7th rankers. Following them were 33 protectors, 6th rank peak powerhouses. The last were 156 elders, 6th rankers. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 346. The strength of Tianqing world is formidable. Placed in the main world, it would certainly be at least a common clan just below the peak clans and powerful clans. The ancestral demon tree has been able to confront the Tianqing alliance for such a long time. Its methods and foundations are definitely on the same level or even stronger. It must have held back something from me. That's normal. Even if it's an ancestor, it can't possibly trust its progeny absolutely. Lin Yuan nodded slightly. He surmised that he was probably subject to some restrictions by the ancestral demon tree, and as an offspring, it was too easy for the other party to leave some techniques in him. Just a bit more and I can grow to the 7th stage. There's no rush. Lin Yuan assessed himself. 30 years ago he was already at the peak of the 6th stage. Here, the 6th stage and the 7th stage do not refer to the levels of strength or realm, but rather the growth height of the demon tree. The reason Lin Yuan was reluctant to enter the 7th stage was that the demon tree at this stage was almost on the same level as the ancestral demon tree. The ancestral demon tree, though it is said to be at the 8th stage, is only so in name. In essence, it is between the 7th and 8th stages. If Lin Yuan advances to the 7th stage, a second demon tree of the same level will be born. Even with the separation by the Tianqing world and Lin Yuan using secret techniques to hide, he will still be noticed by the ancestral demon tree. At that time, the ancestral demon tree will certainly not hesitate to activate its countermeasures. The emergence of a second 7th-stage demon tree could very likely replace the ancestral demon tree and become the new foreign evil god. Compared with this, the Tianqing world is nothing. Of course, Lin Yuan had long since sealed the ancestral demon tree's countermeasures, effectively freeing himself from the ancestral demon tree's control. However, if this scene really happens, Lin Yuan estimates it will be difficult to take advantage of the ancestral demon tree. Therefore, before confronting the ancestral demon tree, Lin Yuan will not advance to the 7th stage. After all, the growth stages of the demon tree are not linked to strength. Even at the 6th stage, Lin Yuan's strength will still continue to rise. How are things on your end? When will you advance to the 5th stage? Several days later, the ancestral demon tree proactively contacted Lin Yuan, sounding somewhat anxious. Over the past 30 years, the leader of the Tianqing alliance has been acting like a madman, attacking it repeatedly on his own initiative. If it were in the past, the ancestral demon tree certainly would not have indulged him. But over the recent decades, in order to support Lin Yuan, it has already sacrificed a significant part of its origin source, and its strength has clearly diminished. The ancestral demon tree faintly felt that the Tianqing alliance leader has sensed its decline in strength and is now seizing the opportunity to strike at its weakest. Ancestor, I have been targeted by the giant elephant king of the Black Mist Mountain range, and now I barely have any time to cultivate. That giant elephant king is too powerful. I lack offensive capabilities and can only passively defend and run. It's too difficult. Lin Yuan couldn't help but say, glancing at the giant elephant king who was kneeling on the ground not far away, continuing to play the victim. Ancestor, if I could kill the giant elephant king, I should be able to advance to the 5th stage in a short time. By rights, with the origin power sent by the ancestral demon tree, Lin Yuan should have advanced to the 5th stage long ago. But the power Lin Yuan displayed was impeccable. He was being hunted and had no time to cultivate and grow. To kill the giant elephant king, the ancestral demon tree's thoughts fluctuated. In the area of controlling its offspring demon trees, besides being able to decide their life and death with a single thought, it could also limit their many abilities and talents. This was a countermeasure specifically left by the ancestral demon tree. If each offspring demon tree possessed all the abilities and talents of the ancestral demon tree, then the emergence of one that reached the 7th rank would be equivalent to a weakened version of the ancestral demon tree, creating an unmanageable situation. Continue reading at Freeweb novel, but by limiting the talents and abilities of the offspring demon tree, even if one luckily grew to the 7th rank, it would not have any substantial combat capability and could not resist the ancestor. Enough. Granting more abilities and talents isn't much of a problem. As long as the giant elephant king is dealt with and advanced to the 5th stage, establishing a spatial passage and my arrival in Tianqing world, I can immediately recycle it, leaving no risks. The ancestral demon tree pondered seriously for a while. It wasn't aware of the current state of Lin Yuan. Nowadays, Lin Yuan had become the uncrowned king of the Black Mist Mountain range. If he wished, he could indeed cause a real disaster in the rear of Tianqing world. Truth be told, even if Lin Yuan were to inform the ancestral demon tree of his status now, the ancestral demon tree might not believe him, because it would be too inconceivable. In a mere 100 years, having infiltrated deep into the rear of the Tianqing world, isolated and without support, with his combat talents locked, merely surviving would already be extremely difficult. How could he have grown to this extent? Fine. I will grant you more talents and abilities. The ancestral demon tree gritted its teeth and began to release the suppression on Lin Yuan. In the deepest part of the Black Mist Mountain range, Lin Yuan's spirit converged on the cluster of dark flames at the root area. Just at this moment, a slight fluctuation slowly emanated from the dark flames. Upon seeing this, Lin Yuan almost activated the seal to suppress the dark flames immediately, only to reconsider that the ancestral demon tree should still be of great use to him at the moment. The tree wouldn't make a move against him. Let's see what this fluctuation is about first. Lin Yuan was cautious, ready to activate the sealing technique at any moment. Should this fluctuation have any adverse effects on him, he would immediately seal it up and stop it. The mysterious fluctuation slowly spread. Upon touching Lin Yuan's body, it seemed to unlock some kind of binding restriction. A feeling of extreme satisfaction suddenly surged through Lin Yuan. Almost simultaneously, many of the ancestral demon tree's abilities poured into Lin Yuan's mind. Like the roots of space, the ancestral demon tree could insert its roots into the void, absorbing nearly endless void energy. This power is also one of the most important abilities for each foreign evil god. Foreign evil gods wander the vast and endless void, and they may not find a world for thousands or tens of thousands of years. During this time, how are the foreign evil gods to survive? The void is filled with spatial turbulence, which is impossible to absorb. At times like this, the utility of the roots of space becomes evident. They are what sustain the basic survival of the foreign evil gods. Besides the roots of space, Lin Yuan also awakened a multitude of combat abilities, such as Space Slash, Fiend God Gaze and so on. These abilities, akin to talents, are the foundation that enabled the ancestral demon tree to dominate beyond its world. Even when facing other foreign evil gods, it could hold its own. Too many. Lin Yuan was exceptionally thrilled. He had thought that the ancestral demon tree would unlock its abilities one by one. But he didn't expect the tree to be so generous. Had it really just opened up completely? From this perspective, the situation of the ancestral demon tree outside the world must be very tough, Lin Yuan mused to himself. However, in the blink of an eye, he turned all his focus to these newly awakened abilities. The ancestral demon tree's many abilities were exceedingly rare and even bizarre, not inferior to the physical body divine ability of blood rebirth. With his against heaven's understanding, Lin Yuan could fully apprehend these abilities and incorporate them into the martial arts evolution system. Ancestor. Lin Yuan barely shifted his focus, about to express his thanks to the ancestor and conveniently declare his loyalty, when he heard the ancestral demon tree suddenly let out a roar. Right after that, the frustrated voice of the ancestral demon tree came. That madman is here again, damn it, do you really think I can't kill you just because you hold the world sword? The next moment, Lin Yuan's connection with the ancestral demon tree was severed. Clearly, the ancestral demon tree was forced to engage the Tianqing Alliance leader and had no energy to maintain its connection with Lin Yuan. That's bad. Lin Yuan fell silent for a while, then sighed. As the ancestral demon tree fought a life and death battle outside of the world, and since it had given its origin source to Lin Yuan, it was under certain restraints. Meanwhile, the primary culprit for all this, Lin Yuan, was leisurely located deep within the Tianqing world, using resources plundered from the ancestral demon tree to cultivate and rapidly become stronger. The two situations were worlds apart. It even made Lin Yuan feel a bit embarrassed. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 347 Outside the World. The Tianqing Alliance leader held a stone sword in his hand, from which an invisible force emanated, blocking the many injuries coming from all directions. Insects, you forced my hand. In the distance, the ancestral demon tree was furious. Upon closer inspection, one could discern a faint sword mark on its trunk. Clearly, in the recent battle with the Tianqing Alliance leader, it had not only failed to gain the upper hand but had also suffered some losses. And what if I did force you? The Tianqing Alliance leader kept a calm expression. The ancestral demon tree inherently stood on the opposing side of Tianqing world, irreconcilable. Since that's the case, the ancestral demon tree's countless black vines swayed, vaguely shifting the space of thousands of miles around it. What is this? The Tianqing Alliance leader's expression changed slightly, as the surging demonic force was already coming at him tangibly. World Sword. The Tianqing Alliance leader gripped the long sword in his hand. With his power, he had been able to fight against a foreign evil god for so long, thanks to this world sword nurtured by Tianqing world for countless years. Although the world sword is called a sword, its defensive capability is also extremely terrifying. At least since the ancestral demon tree invaded, the Tianqing Alliance leader had remained unscathed under the protection of the world sword. Of course, the potency of the world sword is related to the distance from Tianqing world. The closer to Tianqing world, the more powerful the world sword becomes. Conversely, the weaker it becomes. This is my world. Experience more tales on FreeWeb novel. The demonic force filling the space of thousands of miles quickly diminished, space twisted, and instantly moved the Tianqing Alliance leader closer. Immediately, the forces of demonic energy continuously intertwined and collided, forming the illusory image of a world. What is this? The Tianqing Alliance leader's expression grew solemn. Such a tactic had never been used by the ancestral demon tree before. It could be foreseen that this must be one of the ancestral demon tree's trump cards. Boom, thunderous. The immense power of the demon world began to press down, and the Tianqing Alliance leader, unchanging in response to myriad changes, held the world sword and activated its power to protect himself. In the distance, the 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs of the Tianqing Alliance watched the Tianqing Alliance leaders battle with the ancestral demon tree from afar. Is the Alliance leader being too confident, asking us not to intervene and letting him confront the foreign evil god alone? One of the Vice Alliance hierarchs couldn't help but frown. Indeed, the Tianqing Alliance leader, wielding the World Sword, was renowned for slaying evil and being impervious to myriad laws. But that was a foreign evil god, a fearsome entity that had almost breached into the Tianqing world single-handedly. In the face of such a being, no precaution could be too great, and voluntarily giving up their advantage to fight one-on-one seemed somewhat foolish. Although the 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs together could not inflict any damage on the ancestral demon tree Freewub, at least they could restrain it and in crucial moments could prove quite useful. The Alliance leader must have his reasons. If I'm not mistaken, is the Alliance leader testing that foreign evil god? Another Vice Alliance hierarch mused. If the Tianqing Alliance leader and the 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs joined forces, that foreign evil god would likely not engage in battle, much less exert full power. But now, with only the Alliance leader alone, that foreign evil god might entertain the idea of severely injuring or even killing the Alliance leader, and might strike with full force. And in a full-strength battle, it would be easier to discern the true extent of the adversary's capabilities. This is not good. What tactic did that evil god use to ensnare the Alliance leader? Just then, the 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs saw the ancestral demon tree surrounded by dark demonic force, and immediately, the Tianqing Alliance leader was enveloped within it. The Alliance leader has the World Sword to protect him. He should be fine, right? Alas, the Alliance leader is truly taking a risk. If something goes wrong, our Tianqing world will no longer have the power to resist in front of that evil god. The 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs exchanged words, their tones filled with worry. Deep within the Black Mist Mountain range. Right now, Lin Yuan was deeply immersed in enlightenment. 7 demon beast kings stood guard at various directions of the Black Mist Mountain range, ensuring that Lin Yuan was not disturbed by any external factors. Your insight is exceptional, pondering the void's root, perfecting the Martial Tao Evolution System 7th stage. Your insight is exceptional, pondering the void's root, perfecting the Martial Tao Evolution System 7th stage. Your insight is exceptional, pondering the void's root, perfecting the Martial Tao Evolution System 7th stage. Lots of inspirations about the Martial Tao Evolution System 7th stage were absorbed and utilized by Lin Yuan. The many talents released by the ancestral demon tree for Lin Yuan were also integrated into the Martial Tao Evolution System. For instance, Void's Root, a capability that greatly strengthens the survival ability of martial arts evolvers in later stages, allowing for prolonged existence in the void. Other evolvers, accidentally entering the void and straying from their world without an energy source, would either perish from spatial turmoil or starve to death. However, a 7th-rank martial arts evolver, once reaching the level of a marquis, would possess a capability similar to that of the void's root, allowing survival in the void. Martial Tao Evolution System, unique, yet accommodating myriad laws, like the physical body divine skills of the body cultivation lineage in the immortal Tao world, or the many talents of this ancestral demon tree. As long as they are compatible, they can all be incorporated into the martial Tao. Lin Yuan's thoughts surged, silently reflecting. As long as the foundation of the martial path evolutionary path remained unchanged, no matter how myriad its transformations, it would still be the martial path evolutionary path, still capable of providing the sustenance for Lin Yuan's ultimate leap. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 348, The Root of the Void has been completely absorbed. Lin Yuan ceased his enlightenment, feeling quite pleased. There's also the Fiend God Gaze, such soul attack techniques, with their own evil and chaotic origin source. Lin Yuan thought of another ability of the ancestral demon tree. However, this ability wasn't as important to Lin Yuan as he had imagined. In terms of soul attack techniques, the human civilization of the main world didn't know how many they had collected. There were many stronger than the Fiend God Gaze. Demon World. Lin Yuan's expression became slightly solemn as he began to comprehend the ultimate ability of the ancestral demon tree. It was the talent to consume the demon tree's origin source to, in a short time, condense a massive force of demonic power and refine an illusory demon world. This kind of illusory demon world shared a mysteriously similar function with the inner worlds of 8th layer powerhouses. Due to its inherent nature, the ancestral demon tree could not create its own inner world. The pure force of demons was too extreme. Nonetheless, with its talent, it could achieve something similar. This talent involves the profound mysteries of space. Varieties of core spatial models emerged in Lin Yuan's mind. Spatial talent's secret techniques invariably revolved around spatial models. The ability of the demon world to condense an illusory demon world undoubtedly contained the essence of space rules. Take it slowly. The demon world is the ace talent of the ancestral demon tree. Even that foreign evil god only knew how to use it without understanding its essence. Even with my against heaven's understanding, to fully comprehend such a talent would require a great deal of time. Lin Yuan contemplated for a while and found his progress somewhat slow, but he wasn't disappointed. How long had it been since he started? I wonder what rating the 7th ranked chapter of the martial arts evolution system will get from the goddess of wisdom? Lin Yuan was somewhat expectant. Lin Yuan's refinement of the 7th ranked chapter had already reached the marquee stage. There were still 500 years left in this world he had traveled to before returning to the main world. Before returning to the main world, there should be no problem in completely developing the 7th ranked chapter. The 7th ranked chapter of the martial arts evolution system contained many of Lin Yuan's painstaking efforts, starting with the creation of the inner world. Although Lin Yuan would not annotate in the 7th ranked chapter of martial arts evolution system the possibility of opening an inner world during this phase, with the computational power of the goddess of wisdom and the other two goddesses, they should be able to deduce it. Indeed, like Lin Yuan, opening an inner world at the 7th rank would be subject to many restrictions, yet the multitude of restrictions couldn't obscure the precious possibility. For an evolver, being able to open an inner world at the 7th rank is undeniably a groundbreaking benefit. Novel. There's no need to mention combat power. Even if the inner world opened is only a few miles wide, one could almost certainly sweep other 7th rank evolvers. And observing the natural operation of the inner world greatly assists evolvers as well. Besides the inner world, Lin Yuan has now incorporated the abilities of many evil gods into the 7th rank chapter, making 7th-stage martial Tao evolvers equipped to face various difficulties. From the inner to the outer areas of the Black Mist Mountain Range, the Divine Ape King, the Giant Elephant King, and the King of Azure Birds were patrolling nearby. The Master is too kind to actually tell us not to lay hands on those ant-like humans. The Divine Ape King, Giant Elephant King, and King of Azure Birds had long been parasitized by seeds of the demon kind, absolutely loyal to Lin Yuan, with no improper thoughts or ideas. Indeed, with the Master's strength he could easily take over half of the Tianqing world, not to mention unifying it. Yet he stays in the Black Mist Mountain Range. The Divine Ape King sighed. The Giant Elephant King and King of Azure Birds nodded in agreement. As hosts to the demon seeds, even though they acted exactly like the original demon beast kings, they had a certain innate inclination toward aggression and slaughter. This instinct came from the ancestral demon tree, which as a foreign evil god, delighted most in slaughter and invasion. All right. Don't talk about this kind of thing anymore. If the Master hears it, punishment is unavoidable. After some thought, the Giant Elephant King warned. Although they were some distance from Lin Yuan at the moment, in the eyes of the few demon beast kings, the Master was invincible. If the Master wanted to know, there was nothing in the entire Black Mist Mountain Range that could be hidden from him. Stay connected via 8th layer. While cultivating enlightenment, Lin Yuan also pondered the path to the 8th layer. For an evolver like Lin Yuan, who had long since created his own inner world, the greatest challenge in advancing to the 8th layer was the Heart Demon Tribulation. The Heart Demon Tribulation was unrelated to the flesh, it targeted the spirit will. Therefore, during the Heart Demon Tribulation, external forces were essentially useless. To successfully overcome it, one could only rely on oneself, on an indestructible spirit will. However, the concept of spirit will was very nebulous. The strength of one's spirit will was not necessarily linked to one's power. Of course, the stronger the evolver, the less likely their spirit will was to be weak. But there had been natives on a barbaric wilderness planet within the main world's human civilization who possessed frighteningly high spirit will. According to the teacher's words, the so-called heart demon is the condensed essence of the endless resentment and other negative energies of a world. It's related to the fundamental laws of the world and only appears when an evolver reaches a certain layer. Lin Yuan silently thought, recalling the details that the Chiquan Star Lord had discussed regarding heart demons. Normally, a heart demon is a phantom entity, even more ethereal than the soul or primordial spirit, so not even soul defense treasures can counter the heart demon. When a 7th rank peak evolver attempts to break through to the 8th layer, the heart demon tribulation descends, leaving no possibility for turning back because the heart demon cannot be blocked, nor can you flee from it. As long as you are within the world, there is nowhere to hide. However, I have the door to the myriad realms. Can I first traverse worlds, attempt to break through to the 8th layer, and face the heart demon tribulation? If I sense something amiss and find that I can't withstand the heart demon tribulation, then I'll run, returning to the main world. Heart demons couldn't possibly have the ability to travel through the myriad realms, could they? To follow me back to the main world? Lin Yuan considered a subtle strategy, which was to utilize his own advantage and attempt to face the heart demon tribulation in different worlds. Outside the world, the endless demonic power of the ancestral demon tree formed the demon world, which was suddenly torn open by a rift. Whoosh! A figure burst forth from the crack, escaping while letting out bursts of wild laughter. Ha! Foreign evil god with the world sword protecting me, you cannot possibly kill me. The Tianqing Alliance leader wielded the world sword and moved away from the ancestral demon tree. Damn it! The ancestral demon tree could only watch helplessly as the Tianqing Alliance leader escaped. Originally, it had been suffering an origin source deficit, and now it had exerted itself using the extremely taxing demon world technique, coupled with the numerous wounds inflicted by the Tianqing Alliance leader's sword within the world. The ancestral demon tree, now incredibly weak, was utterly incapable of pursuing to kill the Tianqing Alliance leader. Or rather, even if the ancestral demon tree had the strength to pursue, it would not, because it fundamentally couldn't kill the Tianqing Alliance leader. Whoosh! The Tianqing Alliance leader transformed into a ray of light and returned to the side of the 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs. At the same time, the ancestral demon tree slowly receded and vanished from everyone's sight. Alliance leader, are you alright? That evil god didn't hurt you, did it? The 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs immediately asked with concern. At this moment, the Tianqing Alliance leader's aura was somewhat weakened, but his eyes shone with unprecedented brightness. This time he risked his life and fought alone against the ancestral demon tree. During their full-powered clash, he finally comprehended the true extent of the ancestral demon tree's weakness. Weakened. That foreign evil god is currently in a weakened state. The Tianqing Alliance leader's heart raced. The weakness he perceived was not due to the use of a trump card, but rather, it predated that. It was already very weak. The opportunity for my Tianqing world is coming. The Tianqing Alliance leader looked towards the 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs, his spirit agitated and filled with confidence. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 349, Decades ago, the Tianqing Alliance leader had already faintly perceived the weakness of the ancestral demon tree. But at that time he wasn't certain and couldn't confirm if the so-called weakness was intentionally revealed by the ancestral demon tree. It might have been a ploy to lure him into a trap. Wielding the world sword, the Tianqing Alliance leader was nearly invincible. However, the precondition was that he could not stray too far from Tianqing world, as beyond a certain range the power of the world sword would be diminished. If the ancestral demon tree had such intentions, the Tianqing Alliance leader naturally needed to be vigilant. It was just now, in the midst of battle with the ancestral demon tree within the demon world, and with the help of the world sword senses, the Tianqing Alliance leader truly felt the ancestral demon tree's weakness. In the midst of a fierce battle and with the world sword's perception, the Tianqing Alliance leader confirmed his judgment. My fellow cultivators, our chance in Tianqing world has come, the Tianqing Alliance leader said with a relieved breath, looking towards the 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs with a serious expression. Opportunity? What opportunity? Alliance leader, do you know something? The 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs were originally somewhat anxious, but upon seeing the Alliance leader's expression and tone of voice, they immediately became curious. The ancestral demon tree. The Tianqing Alliance leader immediately shared his judgment. For over 300 years, the foreign evil god used its mighty power to forcibly open a battlefield outside our Tianqing world, dragging us into an endless war mire. Every moment, the strong of our Tianqing world die, but with the evil god lying in wait, we have had no opportunity to destroy that battlefield. The Tianqing Alliance leader spoke in a somber tone, as did the 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs. Over 300 years of war had taken their friends, relatives, offspring, many of whom had been lost to the evil god puppets on the battlefield. And as long as that battlefield existed, the war could not be stopped. They indeed wanted to destroy the battlefield so the foreign evil god would lose the basis to initiate it, but the ancestral demon tree was too powerful. Even if the Tianqing Alliance leader joined forces with the 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs, they could only manage to hold their own against the ancestral demon tree at best. But now the ancestral demon tree was inexplicably weak, and the Tianqing Alliance leader even had the confidence to contend with the adversary by himself. As such, there was the possibility to destroy the battlefield and end the war. As for the ancestral demon tree, the Tianqing Alliance leader had no intention to kill it. That was not realistic, but simply planned to drive it away. But now, the opportunity has come, an opportunity to completely end the war has come, the Tianqing Alliance leader stated emphatically, looking at the 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs, pausing after each word. End the war. The hearts of the 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs were ablaze. They had dreamed of ending the war, but after 300 years, hope always seemed out of sight. Having heard the Alliance leader's words today, their hearts were beyond stirred. Going forward, I will use all our remaining resources to launch a counterattack, the Tianqing Alliance leader said. If that evil god dares to intervene, leave it to me. All you need to do is secure the entire battlefield and then destroy it. Yes, the 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs replied without hesitation. The evil god battlefield was situated outside the world, and that was likely the evil god's lair and stronghold. If that evil god battlefield were destroyed, the ancestral demon tree would only be able to attack Tianqing world relying on its own strength, which would be virtually impossible. And with the ancestral demon tree's current strength, under the targeted defense of the powerful in Tianqing world, it would not be able to open up a second battlefield. In theory, as long as the evil god battlefield was destroyed, the ancestral demon tree would no longer have the capability to come into Tianqing world. Issue my decree, order the 10 mountain range demon beast kings to the battlefield, ready for a counterattack, the Tianqing Alliance leader instructed. When the ancestral demon tree invaded, the whole Tianqing world mobilized to resist. But actually, before the battle began, the Tianqing Alliance leader, among others, made the worst assumption. That was the inability to resist the ancestral demon tree's invasion, the collapse of the frontal battlefield. The war situation would spread within the world. For this reason, the Tianqing Alliance leader, despite facing the most adverse warfield conditions, never summoned the 10 mountain range demon beast kings. The 10 mountain range demon beast kings were Tianqing world's last resort to prevent a war collapse and invasion by evil god puppets. In that eventuality, the 10 mountain range demon beast kings were to take action, replacing the defeated cultivator army to temporarily resist the evil god puppets' invasion. This was something the Tianqing Alliance leader and the 10 mountain range demon beast kings had agreed upon many years ago when forming their covenant. In a crucial moment, the 10 mountain range demon beast kings must heed the Tianqing Alliance leader's decree. Of course, the situation on the battlefield is ever-changing. The 10 mountain range demon beast kings were originally the Tianqing Alliance leader's final force for resistance. But now, the Tianqing Alliance leader wished to gather all forces for a counterattack, which naturally meant the plans had to change a bit. The demon beast kings, after all, represented a significant force that could serve as the spearhead for a counterattack. If the counterattack went smoothly and the evil god was repelled, everything would be worth it. Yes. Discover stories at Yes. Yes. The 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs replied spiritedly, turning to depart and convey the Tianqing Alliance leader's orders. Besides the demon beast kings, Tianqing world also harbored many hidden forces, all of which required the 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs to authorize and command. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 350. The Tianqing Alliance leader saw off the 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs. Next, in order to fully mobilize all the forces of the Tianqing world, the Vice Alliance hierarchs, protectors, elders, and other senior members of the alliance would travel within the Tianqing world. He, however, needed to continue presiding over the battlefield to prevent the final counterattack of the ancestral demon tree. Everything is almost over. The Tianqing Alliance leader mused to himself with a deep and thoughtful gaze. Outside the Black Mist Mountain Range, 2 streaks of light descended. This is the Black Mist Mountain Range. I remember the Black Mist Mountain Range has 8 demon beast kings. The strongest is the giant elephant king, possessing the bloodline of an ancient divine elephant. The 2 streaks of light transformed into 2 figures. On the left was a lean old man named Chu Zhuang, an elder of the Tianqing Alliance. The Tianqing Alliance had 156 elders, each wielding 6th rank strength, belonging to the alliance's upper echelon of power. The one on the right was a young man named Liaoan, also an elder of the Tianqing Alliance. Unlike the elder Chu Zhuang, Liaoan was quite young, just over 300 years old, had not even been born when the Tianqing world first encountered the invasion of the ancestral demon tree. Thus, Liaoan had never been to the Black Mist Mountain Range. He had spent most of his time on the evil god battlefield, fighting against countless violent and cruel evil god puppets. Let's go. We should head inside. Continue your saga on Freeweb novel. The lean old man Chu Zhuang then briefed Liaoan on some information about the Black Mist Mountain Range and moved to enter it. The purpose of their visit was clear. It was to convey the decree of the Tianqing Alliance leader, commanding the 8 demon beast kings of the Black Mist Mountain Range to go to the evil god battlefield, preparing for the upcoming counterattack. The Alliance leader aligned the heavens and the earth, and against the foreign evil gods, he even holds a dominating advantage, and now he's preparing to counterattack. All the way, the lean elder Chu Zhuang couldn't help but express his emotion. He was indeed shocked when he first heard the Alliance leader's command to gather all forces of the Tianqing world for a counterattack. Indeed. Liaoan nodded. I hope that after repelling the evil god I can have a home, Liaoan couldn't help but say. That's easy. With your strength and status, once the evil god is repelled, you'll be a hero of heaven and earth, and countless beautiful women will throw themselves at you. The lean elder Chu Zhuang laughed heartily. As they walked, the two chatted. Suddenly, Liaoan stopped. He looked carefully around. What's wrong? The lean elder Chu Zhuang also stopped, looking at Liaoan with a puzzled expression. It's nothing. I just feel, isn't it too quiet? Liaoan furrowed his brows slightly. Although I've never been to the Black Mist Mountain Range, I've heard that this place is teeming with ferocious demonic beasts. It shouldn't be this quiet, to become an elder of the Tianqing Alliance at just over 300 years old. Besides, because of the increased opportunities to demonstrate valor due to the ancestral demon tree's invasion, Liaoan also possessed a kind of intuition and instinct that was unlike ordinary people's. He often sensed danger before it arrived. It is indeed a bit quiet. The lean elder, Chu Zhuang, nodded slightly. But it should be nothing to worry about, right? Maybe the few demon beast kings deep in the mountain range have commanded the ferocious beasts to leave this area? The lean elder Chu Zhuang didn't think much of it. Even though the Black Mist Mountain Range was the territory of ferocious demonic beasts, under the invasion of the foreign evil god, humans and demonic beasts had long since come to a mutual understanding. Hopefully. Liaoan thought for a moment and also felt he might be overthinking it. This was a major rear area in the Tianqing world. It wasn't absolutely safe but wasn't far from it. It was clearly inappropriate to maintain the same level of alertness here as on the battlefield against the evil gods. Let's go. We should be close. The lean elder, Chu Zhuang, quickened his flying speed. Liaoan followed closely behind, heading deeper into the Black Mist Mountain Range. Boom, boom, boom. Just then, a gigantic creature nearly 100 feet tall blocked their way. This massive creature was none other than the Divine Ape King, acting on Lin Yuan's orders to patrol the Black Mist Mountain Range. It is one of the 8 kings of the Black Mist Mountain Range, known as the Divine Ape King. The lean elder Chu Zhuang, upon seeing the Divine Ape King, was not startled but delighted, and turned to introduce it to Liaoan. Divine Ape King? Liaoan sized him up and down, nodding slightly. Just from the aura alone, the Divine Ape King surpassed the average newly advanced 6th rank cultivators. With his colossal physique coupled with the inherent talents of demonic beasts, even a 6th rank peak cultivator would not dare to underestimate him. Divine Ape King, we are here by the mandate of the Alliance Hierarch to grant amnesty to you, the Demon Beast Kings, to go to the evil god battlefield. The gaunt elder Chu Zhuang finished introducing Liaoan and didn't beat around the bush, but directly transmitted his message to the Divine Ape King. To the evil god battlefield? The Divine Ape King naturally wouldn't agree. Currently he only followed Lin Yuan's commands, and as for whatever Tianqing Alliance leader, it naturally didn't catch his attention. Not going. The Divine Ape King was resolute. Not going? The gaunt elder Chu Zhuang was startled, seemed to think of something and then slapped his forehead. Almost forgot. This is the mandate of the Alliance Hierarch, you should go now. The gaunt elder pulled out a token marked with the characters Tianqing. The token, only the size of a palm, emitted strange fluctuations that couldn't be duplicated or replaced. The mandate of the Alliance Hierarch? The divine ape king observed it closely for a few moments. Although it was parasitized by the demon seed, it retained memories from before and knew what the mandate of the Alliance Hierarch truly implied. It was the highest power within the Tianqing world, where every life form, be it human or demonic beast, must heed the command. However, this did not include the divine ape king. The divine ape king only recognized orders from Lin Yuan. Hold on, I will contact the other kings. The divine ape king closed his eyes, secretly reaching out to Lin Yuan. In the deepest parts of the Black Mist Mountain range, Lin Yuan was still immersed in enlightenment. Since the ancestral demon tree had lifted many restrictions on him, a variety of the ancestral demon tree's innate abilities awakened within Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan barely rested, constantly analyzing these with his against heaven's understanding, extracting their essence and discarding their dregs, integrating them into his martial path evolutionary path. Didn't expect that when the ancestral demon tree lifted the restrictions, it even greatly enhanced the abilities of the demon tree seeds. Lin Yuan slightly lamented. The demon tree seeds were abilities naturally mastered by a progeny demon tree. They didn't require the ancestral demon tree's explicit instruction to be unleashed and would naturally possess them upon reaching a certain stage. Originally, Lin Yuan thought the demon tree seeds were an unmodified method by the ancestral demon tree. But now, it was clear that he had underestimated the ancestral demon tree's precautions with its progeny. The most obvious indication was after the ancestral demon tree lifted the suppression on Lin Yuan, he not only awakened a vast number of former abilities, but even the existing demon tree seeds were significantly improved. The improvement here was comprehensive. Lin Yuan, with his against heaven's understanding, perfected the demon tree seeds, greatly enhancing their parasitic capabilities. The parasitized, once infected, looked almost indistinguishable from before, seamlessly deceptive. Similarly, after perfecting the demon tree seeds, Lin Yuan could only condense 100 of them at most. Now, the number of perfected demon tree seeds Lin Yuan could condense had increased from 100 to 300. 300 perfected demon seeds, no need to be so selective now, Lin Yuan thought to himself. Up to now, only 7 demon beast kings had been parasitized by Lin Yuan. As for the others, he had no interest in those demonic beasts below the demon beast kings. Someone's entered the Black Mist Mountain range? Lin Yuan seemed to sense something and looked toward a direction. Currently, Lin Yuan's roots had spread throughout the entire Black Mist Mountain range. Anything happening within this range couldn't escape Lin Yuan's perception. The moment the 2 elders of the Tianqing Alliance stepped into the Black Mist Mountain range, Lin Yuan detected them. Those 2 possessed 6th rank strength? Lin Yuan felt carefully for a moment. A moment later, the Divine Ape King, through the Demon Tree Seed, conveyed a message back to Lin Yuan saying that the visitors were 2 elders from the Tianqing Alliance. 2 6th rank elders from the Tianqing Alliance. A smile formed on Lin Yuan's face. How fortuitous. He had been considering finding new parasitic hosts, and these Tianqing Alliance elders just showed up? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 351 Black Mist Mountain Range. The emaciated elder, Chu Zhuang, and Liaoan stood waiting in their original spot. The Divine Ape King was nearby, eyes closed in deep thought, apparently communicating with several other demon beast kings. Uncle Zhuang, I still feel that something is off. Liaoan, as if scanning the surroundings, grew increasingly anxious as if an invisible eye was observing him from the shadows. This feeling was intense, usually only present on the evil god battlefield when faced with life or death dangers. Liaoan had fought in the evil god battlefield for 200 to 300 years, yet had encountered true life and death dangers no more than 10 times. Each time, it was by relying on this special sense and preparing in advance that he had managed to survive and ultimately achieve numerous merits, becoming an elder of the Tianqing Alliance. But now, in the supposedly absolutely safe rear of the Tianqing world? Liaoan found it somewhat inconceivable, yet he couldn't help but share with the emaciated elder, Chu Zhuang. Actually, upon just entering the Black Mist Mountain range, Liaoan had already felt something was off, but the emaciated elder, Chu Zhuang, hadn't taken it very seriously. "What's off?" the emaciated elder, Chu Zhuang, asked in a low voice. "What's off?" Liaoan furrowed his brows, unsure of what exactly was wrong. It was just his sixth sense wildly sounding alarms. Didn't they say all the demon beast kings are deep within the Black Mist Mountain range? Why has the Divine Ape King appeared here? Liaoan thought for a moment, glanced at the Divine Ape King and found a random excuse to say. "This?" The emaciated elder, Chu Zhuang, fell silent. Why the Divine Ape King was here. The entire Black Mist Mountain range was the territory of the demon beast kings, and the Divine Ape King could be wherever it wanted. They really couldn't control it. "All right. Come with me. They are ready to meet you." The Divine Ape King stood up, its huge body blocking out the sunlight, casting Chu Zhuang and Liaoan into shadow. Boom boom boom. The Divine Ape King took large strides toward the deepest part of the Black Mist Mountain range. The emaciated elder, Chu Zhuang and Liaoan looked at each other. "Don't worry, this is the Black Mist Mountain range. Those demon beast kings wouldn't dare to attack us, right? Aren't they afraid of the alliance leader?" The emaciated elder, Chu Zhuang, comforted Liaoan a few times. "Let's hope." Liaoan steadied his nerves and followed Chu Zhuang. As time passed, they moved ever closer to the deepest part of the Black Mist Mountain range. "This?" Liaoan's heartbeat accelerated, his vision slightly blurred. "Danger. Danger. Extreme danger." Liaoan felt every piece of flesh in his body trembling. How could I be feeling this? Liaoan couldn't believe it. The last time Head had this feeling was over 100 years ago. At that time, Liaoan was still 4th rank, fighting against the evil god puppets on the evil god battlefield. It was the first time Liaoan had experienced such a premonition, and not long after, the foreign evil god itself descended, wreaking havoc on the battlefield. Foreign evil god? Liaoan's scalp tingled, unable to believe that he was feeling the same sensation as when the foreign evil god descended, deep in the rear of the Tianqing world. It's no use. I can't go any further. Even Liaoan himself found it hard to believe that the foreign evil god would descend in the depths of the Yunwu mountain range. But his instinctive bodily reaction prevented Liaoan from venturing deeper. Even if it meant facing punishments from the Tianqing alliance or losing his position as an elder. Whoosh! Liaoan soared into the sky, fleeing wildly towards the outside of the Black Mist Mountain range. Ah! The gaunt elder, Chu Zhuang, was somewhat baffled. He couldn't understand why Liaoan suddenly took such action. Still running? The Divine Ape King, leading the way ahead, glanced at the wildly fleeing Liaoan, and stretched out his right hand to strike. Boom! Terrifying power began to compress space, and although the Divine Ape King seemed exceedingly weak in front of Lin Yuan, without even the capacity to resist, in front of others even as a 6th-rank elder of the Tianqing alliance, he was mighty enough to grievously injure Liaoan with a slap, smashing him hard to the ground. Your next chapter is on Freewub novel. The gaunt elder, Chu Zhuang, took a long time to react. First came Liaoan's unexplained escape, then the Divine Ape King took decisive action, heavily injuring Liaoan with a slap. Divine Ape King, how dare you? Though he didn't understand why Liaoan did that, as an elder of the Tianqing alliance, Chu Zhuang naturally stood by Liaoan's side. After all, Liaoan hadn't done anything, so why should the Divine Ape King strike so ruthlessly? He's not dead, just injured. The Divine Ape King looked down at Chu Zhuang, his voice buzzing. Just injured. If that's the case, we will go back to heal his wounds, and once he's recovered, we'll return to deliver the orders of the Tianqing alliance leader. The gaunt elder, Chu Zhuang, fell silent for a moment, then rose and flew towards Liaoan. The sudden strike by the Divine Ape King gave him an ominous feeling. Coupled with the words Liaoan had just said, Chu Zhuang felt like the Black Mist Mountain range was no longer the same as before. Although Chu Zhuang had not dealt with the Divine Ape King before, he knew very well what it meant for a demon beast king to strike an elder of the Tianqing alliance. Yet, the other party did it anyway, which left Chu Zhuang somewhat fearful. There were two possibilities. 1. The Divine Ape King had gone mad. 2. The Divine Ape King simply did not regard the Tianqing alliance or the Tianqing alliance leader with any respect. Only then would he act so recklessly. Go back. No need to go back. He can heal here at my place. The Divine Ape King looked up, casting a distant gaze towards the gaunt elder, Chu Zhuang. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 352, How come? Could it be, Divine Ape King, that you plan to leave me here to heal my wounds? The gaunt elder Chu Zhuang sneered. Although his strength was not on par with the Divine Ape King's, it was only by a slight margin. The Divine Ape King wouldn't be able to deal with Liaoan as he had with himself, incapacitating him with a single slap, that was far beyond his reach. Liaoan was a recent 6th-rank cultivator, while Chu Zhuang had been a 6th-rank powerhouse even before the ancestral demon tree invaded. Try and see. The Divine Ape King made his move, and a terrifying aura spread around him. You indeed have issues, and so does the Black Mist Mountain Range. The gaunt elder Chu Zhuang stated each word with gravity. The Divine Ape King not only made a move against Liaoan but was now planning to keep him detained within the Black Mist Mountain Range. What was he trying to do? Break. The energy around the gaunt elder Chu Zhuang burst out all at once, and with an all-out blow he barely managed to stagger the Divine Ape King. Stay updated through immediately afterwards he shot into the sky, heading towards a location in the Black Mist Mountain Range with great speed. Not good. The Divine Ape King was about to chase after him. You fool, you think you can pursue me? The gaunt elder Chu Zhuang looked back over his shoulder. With his speed, he would soon be able to reach the outer regions of the Black Mist Mountain Range, from where he could then contact other members of the Tianqing Alliance. The Black Mist Mountain Range dares to commit such unruly acts. I will surely inform the Alliance leader and have you all flattened. The gaunt elder Chu Zhuang's expression turned grim as he had already made up his mind. However, just at that moment, a black vine rose silently from the ground and with a light flick, knocked the gaunt elder Chu Zhuang unconscious. Thank you, Master, for making a move. The Divine Ape King strode forward, bowing slightly towards the depths of the Black Mist Mountain Range. If not for that black vine just now, he might have actually allowed the gaunt elder Chu Zhuang to escape. Who knows how much time had passed. The gaunt elder Chu Zhuang and Liaoan gradually regained consciousness. I am not dead? The gaunt elder Chu Zhuang felt his mind was a complete mess. In the last moments of his memory, all he saw was a pitch-black vine lashing out towards him. The feeling he got from that vine was far beyond what the Divine Ape King could compare with. In the presence of Demon Beast Kings, the gaunt elder Chu Zhuang still had the power to resist. But when he saw that pitch-black vine, the gaunt elder Chu Zhuang felt as if pressure was coming from all around him, above, below, left, right, squeezing in on him. There was simply no way to avoid, nor was there any chance to evade that pitch-black vine. This feeling the gaunt elder Chu Zhuang had only experienced when facing the Tianqing Alliance leader, the strongest in the Tianqing world, who wielded the world sword, the sense of powerlessness and despair like an ant looking up at the sky and earth. 7th rank peak expert. A 7th rank peak expert had made a move against them. The thought had just risen in the gaunt elder Chu Zhuang's mind when he completely lost consciousness again. Where is this? Liaoan also came around. He swallowed hard and looked around. This was a vast valley with abundant spiritual energy. If they were still in the Black Mist Mountain Range, it could only be at its very depths. Uncle Zhuang, we are now. Liaoan also noticed Chu Zhuang, who had also woken up beside him. At this moment, both of them felt uneasy, realizing that their blood, spirit and soul were all sealed, leaving them completely immobilized. One can only imagine the fear in their hearts. Demon Beast Kings? The gaunt elder Chu Zhuang looked up around him. To his shock, he found 7 enormous figures standing reverently on both sides in the distance. Among these 7 colossal figures were the newly met Divine Ape King as well as the Giant Elephant King and King of Azure Birds, whom Chu Zhuang recognized. All 7 Demon Beast Kings of the Black Mist Mountain Range had gathered here. What astounded the gaunt elder Chu Zhuang the most was that these 7 exalted Demon Beast Kings were all standing there respectfully, with an exceptionally submissive posture, bowing towards the highest place. Who could command such respect and even submission from the Demon Beast Kings? The gaunt elder Chu Zhuang found it unbelievable. Demon Beast Kings were proud by nature. Their noble bloodlines made them disdainful of human cultivators. In the entire Tianqing Alliance, the only ones who could make Demon Beast Kings bow with dread were the Tianqing Alliance leader and the few Vice-Alliance hierarchs. But even with dread, that was different from submission. With an incomparable sense of fear and a hint of curiosity, the emaciated elderly Chu Zhuang looked in the direction where the 7 Demon Beast Kings were bowing. The rustling sound. It was an ancient tree. its branches swaying, strands of black tendrils hanging down. Amidst it all, an evil, ancient aura assaulted the senses. What is that? The emaciated elderly Chu Zhuang was somewhat baffled, faintly feeling as though he had seen this ancient tree before, but he could not remember when exactly. Or perhaps he had already remembered, but his instincts were rejecting it, for the true identity of this ancient tree carried an unprecedented and immense horror. Uncle Zhuang, it's the foreign evil god, the foreign evil god. Liao An's voice trembled, breaking through Chu Zhuang's mental defense. Yes, it was the foreign evil god. This ancient god resembled the one from the evil god battlefield beyond the world, exceedingly similar. Shape, appearance, essence, it was essentially a smaller version of the ancestral demon tree. But how could that be? The emaciated elderly Chu Zhuang's soul could not help but shudder. If what they saw was the foreign evil god, then what would the ancestral demon tree, having single-handedly dragged the entire Tianqing world into the quagmire of war from beyond the world, be considered? Having suffered unspeakably, he had fought desperately on the evil god battlefield, striving to keep the foreign evil god outside of the world, to secure a chance for all creatures within to survive. But turning around, the foreign evil god had already entered the Tianqing world? The emaciated elderly Chu Zhuang felt a sense of overwhelming despair at that moment, with a vague understanding that the Tianqing world was now enveloped in darkness. The foreign evil god. No, you are definitely not the foreign evil god. At least not the actual being of the foreign evil god itself. Just as Chu Zhuang was shrouded in the gloom of resignation, Liaoan, standing beside him, suddenly stood up, staring fixedly at the ancient tree worshipped by the 7 demon beast kings. No sooner had Liaoan spoken than the 7 demon beast kings glanced his way. A terrifying pressure descended, yet Liaoan remained standing firm, albeit with trembling legs. After a long while, a massive surge of spiritual fluctuation spread from within that ancient tree. How can you tell? Lin Yuan looked down at Liaoan and Chu Zhuang with interest. Since his arrival in this world, Lin Yuan had at most eavesdropped on conversations among human cultivators. He had yet to truly interact with human cultivators. Firstly, he feared revealing any flaws, knowing humans to be much smarter than demonic beasts. He naturally avoided contact with these intelligent beings until he could dominate the world without rival. Secondly, there was no need. Whatever Lin Yuan wanted to know, he could find out by conducting a soul search from the shadows, bypassing direct communication. How can you tell? Upon hearing Lin Yuan's response, Liao An's scalp exploded with fear again, now certain that this smaller ancestral demon tree before him possessed a definitive consciousness. If you were the foreign evil god itself, there would be no need for you to hide within the Black Mist Mountain range. You could have acted already instead of battling with our Tianqing alliance from afar. Liaoan took a deep breath. Free Webnov. Calm, and now you'd better let us go. Both of us are elders of the Tianqing alliance, persons of high status. Having come to the Black Mist Mountain range to summon the Demon Beast Kings, our prolonged absence will surely prompt other alliance powerhouses to investigate, and in time, Liaoan went on to explain the pros and cons to Lin Yuan. Ultimately, although I do not know your relationship with that foreign evil god, as long as you join forces with our Tianqing alliance, once we deal with that foreign evil god, I will surely plead with the alliance leader to spare your life. Liaoan spoke slowly. Everything he now said was based on his own speculation. That is, the ancient tree before them was not the foreign evil god from beyond the world. Or rather, it did not share the same intent as that foreign evil god. Liaoan had reasons for his conclusion. He and Chu Zhuang were not instantly killed. If they were facing the real foreign evil god, the two of them wouldn't even have the chance to wake up, let alone negotiate terms. The real foreign evil god, evil and terrifying as it is, would render weaklings like them completely voiceless. Having finished speaking, Liaoan waited quietly. The emaciated elderly Chu Zhuang did the same. They had no choice. Regardless of whether Lin Yuan was the foreign evil god or not, their lives were in his hands. Even if Liaoan was eloquent, if Lin Yuan decided to kill them, there would be no escape for either of them. Even if the Tianqing alliance's powerhouses were to come later in revenge, death would still mean death. Time slowly passed by. Liaoan and Chu Zhuang waited nervously for judgment from Lin Yuan. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Speak, what brings you to the Black Mist Mountain Range and what is the situation at the Evil God battlefield? Lin Yuan casually asked. The Divine Ape King had already reported that these two Alliance elders were sent by the Tianqing Alliance leader to recruit the Demon Beast Kings for a counterattack at the Evil God battlefield. But Lin Yuan wanted to inquire about more details. Master, the Tianqing Alliance leader has determined that the foreign Evil God is in an extremely weakened state, hence the decision to launch a counterattack to completely destroy the Evil God battlefield. For this reason, the Tianqing Alliance leader has decided to utilize many of the Tianqing world's resources, such as the Demon Beast Kings of the 10 Great Mountain Ranges and certain war machines, among others. These resources, many of which only the Vice Alliance hierarchs have the authority to mobilize, so this time, the leader has deployed 12 Vice hierarchs along with numerous protector elders into the Tianqing world to quickly assemble the myriad heritage weapons for the counterattack. Liaoan spoke respectfully in a hushed tone. After being parasitized by the demon seeds, they were not technically deceased but merely replaced, so many of their memories remained unaffected. I see. Lin Yuan nodded, naturally understanding the reason why the ancestral demon tree was in such a weakened state. Are you saying that the 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs and the protector elders are all within the Tianqing world now? Lin Yuan seemed to think of something and asked. Yes, master. Liaoan and Chu Zhuang exchanged glances and nodded affirmatively. I see. Lin Yuan stroked his chin, appearing thoughtful. Since that is the case, after you two go back out, bring 1 or 2 more elders here, Lin Yuan spoke. Now that his stock of demon seeds had surged to 300, he could certainly parasitize a few more. Outside the Black Mist Mountain Range, Liaoan and Chu Zhuang transformed into streaks of light and flew out. Master wants us to bring other elders back. Which one should we bring? Liaoan pondered, glancing at Chu Zhuang. Though both were Tianqing Alliance elders, Chu Zhuang certainly had a far greater influence and connections than he did. I have someone in mind. Follow me. Chu Zhuang nodded, immediately heading toward another of the 10 Great Mountain Ranges. The Myriad Beasts Mountain Range. Like the Black Mist Mountain Range, it was one of the 10 Great Mountain Ranges of the Tianqing world. Outside the Myriad Beasts Mountain Range, stood a middle-aged man. These demon beast kings dilly-dallying even after receiving the leader's decree, saying they need to prepare. This middle-aged man, named Bien Bo, was also one of the elders of the Tianqing Alliance. This time he had come to the Myriad Beasts Mountain Range to relay the leader's decree, ordering the demon beast kings there to join the counterattack at the Evil God battlefield. As Bien Bo grew impatient, suddenly 2 streaks of escape light appeared in the distance. Ah, it's elders Chu Zhuang and Liaoan. Bien Bo scanned them briefly, then came forward with a smile. Brother Bien Bo. Your next read is at the slender elder Chu Zhuang responded with a smile. How is it? Are these demon beast kings cooperating? Chu Zhuang inquired. Cooperating? With the leader's decree, how dare they not cooperate? Bien Bo scoffed, but these demon beast kings too indecisive, saying they need a while to prepare. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 354, Is that all? Chu Zhuang raised an eyebrow. What do you mean, brother Chu Zhuang? Bien Bo sensed there was more to it and asked. Chu Zhuang exchanged a glance with Liaoan and said in a low voice, Brother Bien Bo, you know that the 2 of us are responsible for the Black Mist Mountain Range. Right. Bien Bo nodded. We went to grant amnesty to the demon beast kings of the Black Mist Mountain Range. Those demon beast kings were quite insightful, offering treasures proactively and asking us to take good care of them on the battlefield. Chu Zhuang explained. There's such good fortune? Bien Bo's face was full of envy. The demon beast kings of the Myriad Beasts Mountain Range didn't have that foresight. Forget about offering benefits. They wouldn't even speak a few kind words. Ha 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 ha. Upon hearing this, Chu Zhuang couldn't help but smile proudly. What kind of treasure did the demon beast kings of the Black Mist Mountain Range actually offer? Bien Bo asked with some curiosity. Seeing Chu Zhuang so pleased, the treasure could not be ordinary. Earth milk. Chu Zhuang spoke in a hushed tone. Earth milk. Bien Bo repeated, somewhat puzzled. Million-year-old earth milk. Chu Zhuang added 2 more words. Million-year-old earth milk? Bien Bo's eyes widened. This was a real treasure, especially for 6th-rank cultivators like them. It could have an effect similar to marrow cleansing. It's just a pity. Million-year-old earth milk cannot be preserved, cannot be taken with us. Liaoan and I absorbed it for half a day, struggling until we could no longer continue, and then we left. Chu Zhuang shook his head. Right. Million-year-old earth milk, a true miracle of heaven and earth, quickly dissipates once it leaves its birthplace. Bianbo nodded. This was common knowledge in the realm of cultivation. But the next moment, Bianbo realized something. Brother Chu Zhuang, are you saying that there's some million-year-old earth milk left? Bianbo asked tentatively. More than just some. Chu Zhuang shook his head and said, by the way, Brother Bianbo, do you want to go absorb some? It's a rare opportunity. Thanks, Brother Chu Zhuang. Bianbo was overjoyed. It's just, I need to wait here for the demon beast kings of the Myriad Beasts mountain range. Bianbo hesitated. What's so difficult about that? Liaoan, you lead Brother Bianbo to the deepest part of the Black Mist mountain range and I stay here to wait, wouldn't that work? Chu Zhuang patted his chest and said. Then, thanks Brother Chu Zhuang. Bianbo looked touched. What a good man Brother Chu Zhuang was, not only informing him about the great opportunity of the million-year-old earth milk, but also waiting here for the demon beast kings on his behalf. Go on, go on. Our relationship will grow even closer in the future. Chu Zhuang waved his hand dismissively. Of course. Stay connected with Freeweb novel. Bianbo nodded affirmatively. In front of a verdant lake, an elder with a goat beard stood quietly, surveying the lake. 400 years ago, the foreign evil god appeared outside of the world, causing many powers of the Tianqing world to tremble. Among them, the Xuanwu Beast King, known as one of the 4 divine beast kings, lies in slumber here. Before the Xuanwu Beast King went into slumber, it made a pact with the Alliance Hierarch, saying that if one day there was a great matter related to the foreign evil god that required its aid, it need only be asked. The elder with the goat beard mused to himself. He was a protector of the Tianqing Alliance, a 6th-rank peak powerhouse. His mission to enter the Tianqing world this time was specifically to awaken the Xuanwu Beast King. Just then the elder with the goat beard glanced at the distance. Uncle, it's me. A figure flew quickly towards him. It was Bianbo, little Bo. The elder with the goat beard nodded slightly. As a high-ranking member of the Tianqing Alliance, the elder with the goat beard would occasionally lend a helping hand to his descendants and juniors. Bianbo was the most promising among his offspring. What's the matter? The elder with the goat beard asked directly. He had the task of awakening the Xuanwu Beast King and could not afford to delay for too long. I have a friend who went to the Black Mist Mountain Range to recruit the demon beast kings there to go to the evil god battlefield. Bianbo began to speak. I know of this. The old man with the goat beard nodded. The Vice Alliance hierarchs and protectors who had returned from the evil god battlefield each had their own tasks to undertake. Uncle, guess what my friend found in the Black Mist Mountain Range? As Bianbo said this, he carefully looked around. Found what? The old man with the goat beard asked, somewhat amused. The He Tao flower, a 1,000-year-old He Tao flower. Bianbo lowered his voice and spoke seriously. A 1,000-year He Tao flower? The old man with the goat beard's pupils tightened. A cultivator at the 6th-rank peak wishing to break through to the 7th rank needed, apart from their own understanding of the Great Tao, the help of rare items like the 1,000-year He Tao flower to shorten or even skip the process. The old man with the goat beard, being a 6th-rank peak powerhouse, dreamt of breaking through to the 7th rank. Unfortunately, his natural talent was not sufficient. If nothing unexpected happened, he estimated that he would never touch the 7th rank. But now, he saw hope. The 1,000-year He Tao flower. If he could get his hands on that He Tao flower, entering the 7th rank was a certainty. At that time, based on his past merits and his relationships with a few Vice Alliance hierarchs, the old man with the goat beard would become the 12th Vice Alliance hierarch of the Tianqing Alliance. Is this true? The old man with the goat beard looked at Bianbo, and since it's a 1,000-year He Tao flower, why don't you keep it for yourself instead of telling me? Although the old man with the goat beard had provided much help to Bianbo, in the face of such a great chance to step into the 7th rank, let alone that the two were uncle and nephew, even if they were father and son, a falling out could occur. Uncle. The 8 demon beast kings of the Black Mist Mountain Range joined forces to monopolize the He Tao flower. I couldn't get my hands on it. That's why I came to tell Uncle. Bianbo explained. Why not report it to the Alliance? The old man with the goat beard asked. Report it to the Alliance? How much benefit can they give me? It's better to tell Uncle. And when Uncle steps into the 7th rank and becomes a Vice Alliance hierarch, just don't forget about little Bo. Fear appeared on Bien Bo's face in a timely manner. I see. The old man with the goat beard nodded slightly. That made sense. It wasn't that Bien Bo didn't want the He Tao flower. It was that he simply couldn't get it, and if he continued to drag things out, he reckoned it would be devoured by those few demon beast kings. These demon beast kings, a bunch of good-for-nothings, we humans are on the battlefield resisting the invasion of the evil god, while these beasts are enjoying themselves in the rear. The treasures like the He Tao flower should naturally belong to us humans, yet they think of monopolizing it. The old man with the goat beard became furious. Little Bo, take me there. I want to see which demon beast kings dare to monopolize the He Tao flower. The old man with the goat beard immediately went with Bien Bo to the Black Mist Mountain range. As for awakening the Xuanwu beast king, that wasn't urgent, and there would be no harm in waiting until the He Tao flower was in hand. Several days later, atop a high mountain, a tall man stood with his hands behind his back. This place seals one of the strongest foundations of Tianqing world, a war machine that can dominate all. The tall man was somewhat emotional. As a Vice Alliance hierarch of the Tianqing Alliance, second in status only to the Alliance hierarch, only he had the authority needed to activate this foundation. Mr. Gao. Mr. Gao. I have a major discovery to report to you. At this moment, a beam of escape light flew rapidly in. It was the old man with the goat beard. What major discovery? Mr. Gao turned his head, glancing at the old man with the goat beard. In the Tianqing Alliance, the old man with the goat beard was under his command, and the two had a relatively close relationship. Chapter 355. Lin Yuan looked down expressionlessly at the numerous powerful figures below, bowing respectfully. These people can be said to be the most elite forces of the entire Tianqing world. Or rather, they are the group that holds the core power of the Tianqing Alliance. Indeed, within the Tianqing Alliance, the alliance leader is the strongest. However, to govern a force relying solely on the most powerful is futile. Rather, one must rely on their subordinates. Power is not top-down but bottom-up. The Tianqing Alliance leader is usually either in seclusion, cultivating, or battling with the ancestral demon tree. Where does he have the time to manage the Tianqing Alliance? Simply put, these are the real controllers of the entire Tianqing Alliance, that is, the real rulers of the Tianqing world. Lin Yuan controlling these people means controlling the Tianqing world, and this is by no means an exaggeration. As for the Tianqing Alliance leader, his most trusted subordinates, cherished beauty, and valued descendants are now all under Lin Yuan's control, and they are currently completely unaware of it. To Lin Yuan, the Tianqing Alliance leader is merely meat on the chopping board, to be handled whenever he wishes. Things are going too smoothly. Lin Yuan glanced at the crowd and couldn't help feeling a bit emotional. At first, he merely wanted to find a few strong members of the Tianqing Alliance to parasitize and then infiltrate the Tianqing Alliance, to gradually expand thereafter. Where could he have imagined that the development would be too rapid, unable to halt the progression, and he accidentally became the puppet master of the Tianqing world? Lin Yuan began to recap in his mind. Firstly, things went this smoothly because the Tianqing Alliance leader decided to launch a counterattack against the foreign evil god, sending the 12 alliance leaders and many protector elders into the Tianqing world, which significantly impacted the outcome. Had these powerful members of the Tianqing Alliance still been in the evil god battlefield, Lin Yuan would not have found it easy to make a move. As to prevent the phenomenon of deserting, the Tianqing Alliance leader had already decreed that any cultivator on the evil god battlefield may not return to the Tianqing world without his command. This would make Lin Yuan's parasitization not so smooth. Your journey continues at Freeweb Novel because the perfected demonic parasitic ability required Lin Yuan to be present and perform it personally. If those strong ones did not come over, Lin Yuan could not possibly go to the evil god battlefield alone. However, under the orders of the Tianqing Alliance leader, all the Vice Alliance hierarchs and protector elders returned, providing Lin Yuan with an excellent external environment. Secondly, emotions. Generally speaking, the more powerful an individual, the lonelier they are, and the fewer friends they have. With no emotional ties, you won't believe which place boasts a peerless treasure. You say there is a treasure just like that? However, these Vice Alliance hierarchs and protectors of the Tianqing Alliance had deep bonds after battling together against the foreign evil god on the battlefield for 300 to 400 years. They likely had life-saving bonds. The trust foundation is very high, and now that they're back in the Tianqing world, everyone is in a good mood and their vigilance is lowering. That's why they could be attracted one by one, allowing Lin Yuan to parasitize them sequentially. Then it was the parasitic ability perfected by Lin Yuan. This reason is perhaps the most significant one. The Tianqing alliance was very familiar with the parasitic ability of the ancestral demon tree. It never occurred to anyone that the parasitized fighters would perfectly replace their original selves, leading no one to think in that direction. This is also why these powerful figures of the Tianqing world are unable to handle unexpected situations and lack countermeasures. Lastly, it is Lin Yuan's strength that is sufficiently strong. Even if he lured in the 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs and the 4 Divine Beast Kings one by one, all of whom are 7th rank in terms of combat power, even if they are far inferior to Lin Yuan, there was a chance they could have sent out a message. However, under Lin Yuan's understanding of the spatial prison, isolated from everything, none of these Vice Alliance hierarchs nor the Holy Beast Kings managed to send out a message after being successfully parasitized. The most important aspect is that those who were parasitized did not die but lived in another form, meaning it was impossible to detect anything unusual through means like life fire. Because they hadn't died, any predictions of life or death through life fire and other means naturally became useless. "Master, this is all I know," a breathtakingly beautiful woman respectfully said. This woman was the mistress of the Tianqing Alliance leader. With her statement, Lin Yuan's understanding of the Tianqing Alliance leader had reached an unprecedented level. He even knew what color underwear the other person wore. "Master, should we bring the Alliance leader over now?" Another Vice Alliance hierarch respectfully asked, whose contributions were indispensable in Lin Yuan successfully controlling the Tianqing world this time. Most of the Vice Alliance hierarchs from the Tianqing Alliance had been led by him. As the current Tianqing Alliance leader's mentor, this Vice Alliance hierarch held tremendous prestige within the Tianqing Alliance. With him stepping forward, which other Vice Alliance hierarch would dare to refuse? The reason he could lead this Vice Alliance hierarch over was entirely because Lin Yuan controlled the sizable protector position held by this Vice Alliance hierarch's favored descendant. This Vice Alliance hierarch adored this descendant tremendously, allowing Lin Yuan to successfully clinch him. Not for now. Lin Yuan shook his head as he was not planning to make a move against the Tianqing Alliance leader immediately. His greatest advantage now lies in the shadows. The Tianqing Alliance leader had no idea that everything he had painstakingly managed had already fallen into Lin Yuan's hands. Therefore, the timing of Lin Yuan's move against the Tianqing Alliance leader is crucial. If he were to bring the Tianqing Alliance leader over now, it might raise suspicions. After all, with the foreign evil god still unresolved and as the strongest of the Tianqing Alliance, the only one capable of combating the ancestral demon tree, why would returning to the Tianqing world be appropriate? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 356. Furthermore, discover exclusive tales on FreeWeb novel. Even if the Tianqing Alliance leader were to be lured over, there is a high likelihood that he would bring the World Sword with him. The World Sword, a world weapon nurtured by the Tianqing world for countless years, could match the ancestral demon tree in its heyday with a few moves beyond this world. As for within this world, even Lin Yuan now would rather not confront the World Sword head-on. And how to deal with the World Sword? Lin Yuan had long devised a plan. Fundamentally speaking, the Tianqing Alliance leader is not the true owner of the World Sword. He is merely a temporary user. If it were not for the threat of the foreign evil god, the consciousness of the Tianqing world would never have allowed the World Sword to appear. The very reason for the emergence of the World Sword is the foreign evil god. As long as the foreign evil god is dealt with, the World Sword will no longer remain in the hands of the Tianqing Alliance leader. Therefore, Lin Yuan had no intention of immediately attacking the Tianqing Alliance leader. "I assign you 2 tasks. Lin Yuan looked down at the many powerful beings below and said slowly, "Master, please command us." "Don't worry, Master, even if it's not just 2 tasks but 20 or 200, we will accomplish them." "Right, Master, please tell us." Nearly 300 strong beings listened intently with fervor. As hosts to demon tree seeds, they were naturally extremely obedient to Lin Yuan. Disseminate this cultivation system gradually. Using his mind, Lin Yuan slightly altered the martial arts evolution system and, through the connection with the demon seeds, transmitted it to everyone's minds. This journey, apart from pioneering further stages in the martial arts evolution system, spreading the martial arts evolution system was also a plan Lin Yuan had long decided upon. However, in his first 100 years after arriving in this realm, Lin Yuan's identity was special and he dared not even show his face, let alone spread the martial path evolutionary path. But now it was different. With the help of these local strong beings of the Tianqing world, spreading the martial path evolutionary path could not be easier. This cultivation system, no problem, master. Such a profound cultivation system will be wasted on those mere ants. Rest assured, master, we guarantee to accomplish the mission. Nearly 300 strong beings vowed confidently. Lin Yuan didn't doubt them at all. Because this task was indeed not difficult, especially since those present were high-ranking people from the Tianqing world. What's spreading a cultivation system? Moreover, the martial path evolutionary path has limitless potential. Even without their advocacy, as long as it isn't suppressed or targeted, it would spread slowly on its own. Another matter is to return to the evil god battlefield, get back to the side of the Tianqing alliance leader, pretend as if nothing has happened, and launch a counterattack against the foreign evil god, Lin Yuan spoke. Destroying the evil god battlefield was one of Lin Yuan's goals. Without the evil god battlefield, the ancestral demon tree would have to rely on him reaching the 5th stage and then establishing a spatial channel to descend upon the Tianqing world. In doing so, Lin Yuan would inevitably possess more bargaining chips to plan for more benefits, such as a substantial amount of the ancestral demon tree's origin power. Lin Yuan acquiring the origin power was not just to enhance his strength, but also to weaken the ancestral demon tree. Time passed. In the blink of an eye, 5 years had passed. Outside the Tianqing world, evil god battlefield. At this moment, the evil god battlefield was on the verge of collapse. Under the forceful counterattack of the Tianqing world, it began to occupy a large area, while the foreign evil god, the ancestral demon tree, dared not make a move under the guard of the Tianqing alliance leader wielding the world sword. Damn it! In a distant illusion, the ancestral demon tree's presence turned chaotic, watching the evil god battlefield gradually turn to dust, its heart bleeding. The evil god battlefield, refined from a special metal in the outer void, had cost the ancestral demon tree untold efforts. Through the evil god battlefield, the ancestral demon tree could more easily penetrate the interior of the world. But now its efforts were collapsing. Helpless, retrieving the evil god battlefield required a lot of time, and the ancestral demon tree had to be present above the battlefield. And this was something the Tianqing alliance leader would never allow. If my origin power hadn't been depleted so much, would I be afraid of you? The ancestral demon tree gritted its teeth. At its peak, even the Tianqing alliance leader alone could not have stopped it. Therefore, if the Tianqing alliance leader dared to launch a counterattack, the ancestral demon tree would descend onto the battlefield, dragging the Tianqing alliance leader into a fierce battle nearby. In this way, merely the repercussions of their battle would have been enough to sweep across the battlefield, making it impossible to take control of the battlefield. But now, with severe loss of origin power and the Tianqing alliance leader wielding the world sword, he could drive him into a chase without sparing any attention for the overall situation on the battlefield. Above the evil god battlefield, the Tianqing alliance leader sat cross-legged, the world sword floating before him, radiating layers of indescribable fluctuations that enveloped all around. It seems that the evil god is not planning to make a move, the Tianqing alliance leader murmured to himself. His purpose here was to wait for the ancestral demon tree. After all, launching a counterattack and destroying the evil god battlefield would, for the ancestral demon tree, be akin to pulling chestnuts out of the fire. 400 years ago, the ancestral demon tree was able to easily forge the evil god battlefield because the Tianqing world was unprepared. As long as the evil god battlefield is destroyed and the Tianqing world is prepared, even if the ancestral demon tree gains a second evil god battlefield, it won't be able to carve it out from beyond the world. So, in the eyes of the Tianqing alliance leader, launching the counterattack and destroying the evil god battlefield should cause the foreign evil god to struggle at least a little. After all, the destruction of the evil god battlefield meant that the foreign evil god would no longer have an opportunity to descend into the Tianqing world. Duan Lang, with his masterful strategies and invincible strength, knows that the foreign evil god, even if it intervenes, cannot match him, so it has also refrained from making any meaningless moves. A stunningly beautiful woman appeared beside him and softly said to the Tianqing alliance leader, "Ayan." The Tianqing alliance leader looked at the beautiful woman, a smile appearing on his face. This woman, named Ayan, had an ambiguous relationship with him, and they had shared their hearts with each other frequently. Only because of the pressure from the foreign evil god, the Tianqing alliance leader had not yet confirmed their relationship with Ayan. Of course, although their relationship was not confirmed, the Tianqing alliance leader had compensated Ayan in many ways, such as the position of vice alliance hierarch and so on. Ayan, once we completely destroy the evil god battlefield, we can be together forever. The Tianqing alliance leader couldn't help but embrace Ayan and whispered softly. His heart had already started imagining all the wonderful things after they drove back the foreign evil god. Then he would take the woman he loved traveling and enjoying leisurely days. And with the merit of repelling the foreign evil god, he would become the greatest cultivator in the history of Tianqing world, and be praised by countless future cultivators. Yes, then Ayan can be with Duan Lang, forever, the beautiful woman Ayan whispered, her tone tinged with a hint of shyness. Ha, of course. The Tianqing alliance leader laughed heartily. However, what he did not notice was, at this moment, nestled in his arms, Ayan's eyes faintly flashed a strange light. In the deepest part of the Black Mist Mountain range, Lin Yuan gazed toward the direction of the evil god battlefield. It looks like the war is nearly over. Separated by the world barriers, Lin Yuan was unable to perceive the specific situation on the evil god battlefield. But through the life and death status of parasitic beings, he could infer that the counterattack must be going well. Being a descendant of the ancestral demon tree, Lin Yuan could just about sense the ancestral demon tree's general location. Of course, the ancestral demon tree could also sense Lin Yuan's location. According to Lin Yuan's perception, the ancestral demon tree had never approached the evil god battlefield. Just then, in the root area, the cluster of burning black flames suddenly began to fluctuate. Lin Yuan saw this and immediately focused his mind before the black flames. Shortly after, a somewhat anxious and impatient voice from the ancestral demon tree came from within the black flames. What stage have you reached now? The situation here cannot be salvaged, it's up to you now. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 357 The ancestral demon tree was extremely irritable. Watching helplessly as the evil god battlefield it had established gradually collapsed was a grating experience. Even for it, remaking an evil god battlefield would require a huge sacrifice and take up thousands to tens of thousands of years. But now, it was gone. The loss of the evil god battlefield, combined with the substantial origin power given to Lin Yuan, made the ancestral demon tree feel like a gambler who had lost all his trump cards. If it couldn't descend to the Tianqing world to make up for the losses, this time it would be utterly ruined and it had no idea if it could ever recover. Ancestor, what has happened? Lin Yuan pretended to be ignorant and asked with concern. After all, in the eyes of the ancestral demon tree, he was still struggling to survive in the Tianqing world. Even with the abundant origin power given by the ancestral demon tree, what place was the Tianqing world? Exposing any trace of himself would attract the attack of countless powerhouses, and might even catch the attention of the Tianqing alliance leader holding the world sword. My strength has been greatly depleted, the Tianqing alliance leader found a weakness, and now almost has the control of the battleground. The ancestral demon tree did not elaborate further. Instead, it directly asked, I've given you so much origin power over the years, why are you still growing so slowly? Quite obviously. The ancestral demon tree was already somewhat dissatisfied with Lin Yuan. Over the past 100 years, the demon essence it had invested in Lin Yuan could probably have created several six-stage demon trees. Even though different offspring of demon trees have varied degrees of absorption of origin power, even the worst qualified ones should have almost reached the 5th stage by now. Ancestor, I'm so useless. I've been hunted down by demon beast kings many times, left critically injured and dying, and could only use the origin power you bestowed for healing. Lin Yuan had his answer prepared and quickly said it. This reason was flawless. The Black Mist Mountain range was home to a multitude of demonic beasts and even demon beast kings. It was inevitable for Lin Yuan to be noticed during his growth, as it was difficult to contain the evil aura of the demon trees. Facing 6th-ranked demon beast kings, Lin Yuan was not yet able to resist, and once held up, attracting more demon beast kings would only make the situation worse. So he could only be hunted down. Using my origin power to heal wounds, the ancestral demon tree's heart bled. If Lin Yuan absorbed the origin power to enhance himself, then after being devoured by it, that origin power could come back. Read latest stories on Freeweb novel but healing wounds. That was a total loss. However, Ancestor, I have now grown to the peak of the 4th rank, just a step away from advancing to the 5th stage, Lin Yuan said again. Peak of the 4th rank? The mood of the ancestral demon tree improved slightly. This was the only good news it had heard so far. How long will it take for you to grow to the 5th stage? The ancestral demon tree inquired. Once Lin Yuan grew to the 5th stage, his life essence would be strong enough to open a stable space channel. I should be able to do it within 5 years, Lin Yuan thought for a moment and answered. 5 years was an incredibly short time for a life form like the demon tree from beyond the realm. No, 5 years is too long, the ancestral demon tree shook its head. This wasn't about time, it was that considering the current situation in the evil god battlefield, numerous powerhouses would probably return to the Tianqing world in 5 years. After all, the war had ended. By then, even if Lin Yuan opened a space channel, there would be risks for it when descending. Hey race, what will do? I'll send you some more origin power and you force a breakthrough to try and reach the 5th stage within a year. The ancestral demon tree assessed itself. Its own origin power was now only 70% of what it was at its prime. Still, it painfully took out 20% of its origin power and sent it to Lin Yuan without hesitation. In the eyes of the ancestral demon tree, Lin Yuan was its only hope. As long as Lin Yuan could grow to the 5th stage, the investment it had made could at least be mostly recouped, if not entirely. Ancestor, isn't this too much? Lin Yuan, overjoyed by the origin power sent by the ancestral demon tree, asked with pretended concern. Ancestor, won't you be affected by losing so much origin power at once? It's not a big deal, the ancestral demon tree said through gritted teeth. In truth, the impact was significant. Faced with the Tianqing Alliance leader wielding the World Sword, even the ancestral demon tree with only 50% of its origin power would have to flee far away. But as long as it could descend into the Tianqing world, everything would be worth it. Even a weakened ancestral demon tree was still a foreign evil god. As long as it could enter the interior of the world, it could, through a certain secret technique inherent to its talent, fuse into the origin vast ocean of the world. Then the origin power of the entire Tianqing world would be its feast. Of course, the execution of the secret technique talent required time, but the ancestral demon tree was confident that it would catch all the powerhouses of the Tianqing world off guard, with no time to stop itself. Then Ancestor, rest assured, I will definitely complete your task, Lin Yuan said solemnly. Just establish the space channel and I will reward you well. The ancestral demon tree still didn't forget to promise rewards up till now. In the deepest depths of the Black Mist Mountain range, Lin Yuan cut off the connection with the ancestral demon tree. It should be very weak by now. Lin Yuan judged internally that the origin power just bestowed by the ancestral demon tree was almost half of what he had been given in the past. With such a large one-time loss of origin power, Lin Yuan could guess even without thinking too hard that the ancestral demon tree was in poor condition. It was relying on him to turn the tide. Outside the Tianqing world, the vast evil god battlefield. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 358. The Tianqing Alliance leader gazed down, while the ancestral demon tree did not intervene. The evil god battlefield quickly collapsed by a large part, finally turning to ash in the end. We won. We have finally won. We defeated the foreign evil god. We protected our homeland, the Tianqing world. Countless powerful beings of the Tianqing world had tears in their eyes, even the Tianqing Alliance leader, whose thoughts began to surge. 400 years. A war that lasted an entire 400 years. It has finally come to an end. Duan Lang, let's go home. We're going home, back to the place we used to live, Ian said joyfully by his side. Home. The Tianqing Alliance leader was silent for a while. Wait a moment. Even though the evil god battlefield is destroyed, the foreign evil god is still alive. I must leave the World Sword here to prevent the return of that evil god, the Tianqing Alliance leader said somewhat reluctantly. As the wielder of the World Sword, the Tianqing Alliance leader knew all too well how powerful this weapon was. Under normal circumstances, such a weapon should not even exist. Even if it did come into being, it had a great impact on the consciousness of the Tianqing world. But the threat of the foreign evil god to the Tianqing world was too great. That's why the Tianqing Alliance leader became the wielder of the World Sword. Without the World Sword, the Tianqing Alliance leader had little resistance against the foreign evil god. But with the World Sword, he was able to fight back and forth with the ancestral demon tree. Leave the World Sword here? Ian was stunned, looking at the Tianqing Alliance leader. Indeed. The World Sword is a condensation of the consciousness of the heavenly Tao. Only by placing it here can it block all the methods of that foreign evil god, the Tianqing Alliance leader said with a nod. Ian, you go back to the world with the others first. I will set up the World Sword and then join you, the Tianqing Alliance leader said. All right. Ian nodded and turned to leave. After Ian disappeared, the Tianqing Alliance leader looked at the World Sword floating in front of him. Old pal, we must part ways. But if you detect any activity, notify me right away. Though he couldn't take the World Sword with him, after so many years the Tianqing Alliance leader had already refined a part of it. If he wished, he could sense the World Sword at any moment, even summon it back to him. The World Sword turned into a ray of light, engraved beyond the world. It's time I returned, the Tianqing Alliance leader sighed. He too flew toward the heart of the Tianqing world. At the edge of the Tianqing world, 12 Vice Alliance hierarchs, 4 Holy Beast Kings, 33 Protectors, 156 Elders and 93 Demon Beast Kings were all standing there. Full of eager and exhilarated anticipation, they waited for him. Everyone, the Tianqing Alliance leader felt overwhelmingly emotional. Let's all return home. The Tianqing Alliance leader, leading his own forces, traveled along the golden light path toward the depths of the world. Along the way, countless beings of the Tianqing world bowed in worship. As a legendary figure who saved their world, the Tianqing Alliance leader very much enjoyed this sensation. As everyone passed the Black Mist Mountain range, one of the Vice Alliance hierarchs suddenly furrowed his brow and said to the Tianqing Alliance leader, "Leader, I feel an unusual presence below." Oh? The Tianqing Alliance leader immediately took it seriously. This Vice Alliance hierarch was a 7th-rank peak expert, specialized in searching. Had it not been for his actions over the past 400 years, locating the foreign evil god's position, the casualties might have been far worse. Black Mist Mountain Range. The Tianqing Alliance leader looked down below. Let's go. Let's see what exactly is down there, the Tianqing Alliance leader said with a cold laugh, fearing nothing. He had repelled both the foreign evil god and the ancestral demon tree, any unusual presence within the world. If not for passing by coincidence and the discovery being reported by a Vice Alliance hierarch he esteemed, the Tianqing Alliance leader probably wouldn't have given it a second glance. All right. We will follow the leader's orders. What kind of damned presence dares to reveal itself as we pass? It deserves death, the many powerful beings echoed. Then let's go down together, said the Tianqing Alliance leader with a nod, leading his subordinates towards the deepest part of the Black Mist Mountain range. According to that Vice Alliance hierarch, the location with the unusual aura was precisely at the deepest part of the Black Mist Mountain range. As they drew closer to the deepest part of the Black Mist Mountain range, the Tianqing Alliance leader's frown deepened. He vaguely sensed that the aura emanating from the deepest part of the range was somewhat strange, even bearing some similarity to that of the foreign evil god. This was a significant matter. The Tianqing Alliance leader's expression became grave. The previously relaxed expression on his face had disappeared. Everyone be careful, he cautioned his numerous subordinates. Shortly afterward, the Tianqing Alliance leader and his subordinates arrived at the deepest part of the Black Mist Mountain range. This was a valley with an ancient evil presence subtly lingering around it. In the center of the valley stood an ancient tree with countless black vines hanging down. The foreign evil god. The Tianqing Alliance leader looked shocked. Having dealt with the ancestral demon tree for many years, he immediately recognized that this ancient tree was eerily similar to the ancestral demon tree. Wait, no. It's not the foreign evil god. The Tianqing Alliance leader observed carefully. He was very familiar with the ancestral demon tree, and it was exactly for this reason that he was sure the tree before him was not the cruel and wild foreign evil god. It's an offspring of the foreign evil god. Who would have thought that the one we missed over 100 years ago could have survived until now? The Tianqing Alliance leader immediately breathed a sigh of relief, and a trace of killing intent appeared on his face. Over 100 years ago, the ancestral demon tree paid a huge price to pry open the world barrier of the Tianqing world, scattering hundreds of thousands of demon seeds within the world. The Tianqing Alliance leader was aware of this matter and had ordered a dedicated effort to deal with it, striving to eradicate all demon seeds. Experienced tales at Freeweb novel, however, he never expected that one of the demon seeds would survive and grow to such an extent. In a flash, the Tianqing Alliance leader sorted out the cause and effect. Even your ancestor was repelled by me, what are you in comparison? He thought to himself, his heart cold as he stared at the swaying ancient tree in the distance. At that moment he saw Lin Yuan as dead for sure. Leading so many powerful beings, along with himself, a 7th-rank peak existence, they would be able to resist even the true ancestral demon tree for some time. As for an offspring of the demon tree? Vice Alliance Hierarch, I'll leave it to you to take action and personally deal with this remnant of the evil god, said the Tianqing Alliance leader indifferently. Mr. Fong, the Vice Alliance Hierarch who had noticed the unusual aura in the Black Mist Mountain range, possessed 7th-rank strength, nowhere near sufficient to confront the ancestral demon tree. But for an insignificant offspring. In the eyes of the Tianqing Alliance leader, there would be no problem. Take action. Mr. Fong fell silent for a while, then gave a slight bow to Lin Yuan and said, Master, what should we do now? As these words were spoken, the atmosphere suddenly became eerily strange. The Tianqing Alliance leader's pupils shrank sharply. He had never imagined that his most trusted subordinate would call a remnant of the evil god their master. Fang Jingqing, how dare you? The Tianqing Alliance leader roared in fury. His thoughts whirled rapidly, and scenes that had passed along the way flashed through his mind. Fang Jingqing had discovered the unusual aura in the deepest part of the Black Mist Mountain range, then led them all here, and now Fang Jingqing was addressing that remnant of the evil god as his master. That meant Fang Jingqing had led them here with premeditation. This isn't good. Everyone retreat. It's an ambush. Predicting everything, the Tianqing Alliance leader's expression changed drastically, and he was about to instruct his subordinates to leave the area. But at that moment, Ayan, who stood behind the Tianqing Alliance leader and was his beloved confidant, gently lifted her right hand and placed it on the Tianqing Alliance leader's back. Thump. The Tianqing Alliance leader's expression changed dramatically. His vital energy visibly weakened at an alarming rate. The Tianqing Alliance leader turned around in shock to look at Ayan. Ayan, you? He could never have anticipated that his beloved woman would strike him such a fatal blow. Ayan is also untrustworthy. You all must. The Tianqing Alliance leader tried to suppress his injury and take off into the sky to flee with his remaining subordinates. In the next instant, the many subordinates whom the Tianqing Alliance leader had protected, stepped forward in unison, surrounded their leader, and their auras converged, pressing down upon him. You as well. The Tianqing Alliance leader looked at his numerous subordinates, his face briefly showing a mix of confusion and shock. And a feeling of utter estrangement filled him to the brim. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Regardless, no matter what difficulties he faced, the Tianqing Alliance leader believed that as long as the World Sword was in hand, he could fear no circumstance. For the World Sword was a world weapon that had been nurtured by the Tianqing world for countless millennia. The closer one was to the Tianqing world, the greater its power. If it were to be activated within the world, the Tianqing Alliance leader was confident that even the ancestral demon tree in its prime wouldn't dare to confront him directly. At that moment he would take back everything that was his. However, as the Tianqing Alliance leader bought time, Lin Yuan wasn't unaware of it. It had taken him great effort to find a moment when the Tianqing Alliance leader was separated from the World Sword. He certainly wouldn't hold back. As the Tianqing Alliance leader turned his gaze towards him, Lin Yuan immediately unleashed the Fiend God Gaze. This ability, derived from the ancestral demon tree and similarly potent in the hands of the demigod progeny, how could it be any less powerful when executed by Lin Yuan? Boom! The terrifying soul fluctuations swept across the area. The Tianqing Alliance leader felt his thoughts shake and his consciousness slowly sinking. This is bad. The Tianqing Alliance leader was startled, forcing his mind to concentrate, biting his tongue, and resorting to using a forbidden technique to regain his clarity. He immediately soared into the sky. From that brief encounter, the Tianqing Alliance leader realized that staying to delay time was even more dangerous. The power of this move is hardly less than that of the foreign evil god. What kind of monster is this demigod progeny? The Tianqing Alliance leader's scalp exploded. Doubts began to creep into his mind. Had he really repelled that foreign evil god who possessed such a demigod progeny? It made no sense. Generally, the strength of the progenitor far surpasses that of its progeny. The power of this demigod progeny he was facing suggested that its progenitor could easily obliterate the entire Tianqing world. Yet the reality was the opposite. The progenitor evil god, during the destruction of the evil god battlefield, didn't dare to show up. With such a powerful demigod at your disposal, why be so cowardly? The Tianqing Alliance leader's thoughts surged wildly as he raced out of the Black Mist Mountain range. He had already started to recall the World Sword just a little longer and he would. The Tianqing Alliance leader hadn't finished thinking when he saw the sky and earth reversing, the power of space swirling around, forming a cage. Just as expected. Relying solely on the demon tree's abilities, it's still very difficult to completely detain you. Lin Yuan sighed lightly, his vines swaying as he manipulated the power of space, teleporting and pulling the Tianqing Alliance leader back in front of him. Even without the World Sword, the Tianqing Alliance leader was still at the 7th rank peak. Even for the ancestral demon tree at its peak, killing the Tianqing Alliance leader would take considerable effort, and there was a chance he could escape. What kind of technique is this? Unlike Lin Yuan's sigh, the Tianqing Alliance leader was thoroughly shocked. He had clearly escaped some distance just now, so how had he ended up back here? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 360, The Power of Space. The power of space can also be used like this. The Tianqing Alliance leader's spirit shuddered, for at his level, he had naturally begun to comprehend space rules long ago. However, the foundations of the Tianqing world were limited, and the Tianqing Alliance leader's comprehension of the space rules had always been like a blind man feeling an elephant. For the Tianqing Alliance leader, his comprehension of space rules had no so-called foundation, no core space model to reference. He could only rely on himself. Here's a simple example. The dimensional assault brought by Lin Yuan from the exceedingly prosperous main world of the Human Civilization Alliance upon the Tianqing Alliance leader. Ignoring the Tianqing Alliance leader's shock, Lin Yuan shifted his gaze toward a certain direction. That was the direction where the evil god battlefield once existed, but now, a vast aura was rapidly approaching. Is it the World Sword? Lin Yuan had anticipated this. The Tianqing Alliance leader, having wielded the World Sword for 400 years, definitely had an extraordinary connection to it. The Tianqing Alliance leader facing mortal peril meant the World Sword moving on its own to protect its master was only normal, and still within Lin Yuan's expectations. It's too late. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. If the Tianqing Alliance leader had summoned the World Sword back before entering the Black Mist Mountain range, he might have had the ability to contend with Lin Yuan. But now, even the World Sword, flying from outside the Tianqing world to the Black Mist Mountain range, would take at least a good half of an incense stick's time. In such a long time, the Tianqing Alliance leader would have already been crushed and rounded by Lin Yuan. Of course. Lin Yuan also considered that the World Sword could traverse space, akin to teleportation, to get closer to the Black Mist Mountain range. Freebnol. Calm, but Lin Yuan had prepared countermeasures. The World Sword was indeed powerful, but it also needed its master to activate it. Without an active World Sword, its power greatly diminished, otherwise there would be no need for the Tianqing Alliance leader to wield it. Why not just let it fight the ancestral demon tree directly? And with its power greatly diminished, Lin Yuan was confident he could delay the World Sword. Start the parasitic control. With just a thought from Lin Yuan, a dull gray seed began to fall, entering the spatial prison. And in the few breaths since, under Lin Yuan's casual attack, the Tianqing Alliance leader trapped in the spatial prison was already severely wounded and dying. If Lin Yuan didn't have the idea of parasitic control, the Tianqing Alliance leader would have died long ago. Is this parasitic control? No, the parasitic methods of the foreign evil god shouldn't be like this. The Tianqing Alliance leader moaned in pain. At this moment, countless images flashed through his mind, his own subordinates, elders and loved ones inexplicably betraying him. So that's how it is. A look of realization appeared on the Tianqing Alliance leader's face. So, they didn't betray him but were controlled by this spawn of the evil god? The Tianqing Alliance leader's gaze showed relief, and in the next instant the Tianqing Alliance leader closed his eyes and bowed to Lin Yuan, saying, "I've seen the master." Parasitic control was successful. For 400 years the Tianqing Alliance leader had fought with the ancestral demon tree, possessing the strength of the 8th layer. But most of that relied on the world sword, and as for the Tianqing Alliance leader himself, he was still at the 7th rank. Therefore, facing Lin Yuan, who had also reached the 7th rank peak and whose combat power was not much weaker than the ancestral demon tree, the Tianqing Alliance leader naturally had no power to resist. "Master." The Tianqing Alliance leader spoke respectfully. "Rise." Lin Yuan nodded slightly. To deal with this Tianqing Alliance leader, Lin Yuan had made many arrangements and backup plans. For instance, he anticipated the possibility of the Tianqing Alliance leader breaking out of the spatial prison. Even if the Tianqing Alliance leader really did manage this, there were still more measures waiting for him afterward. "Can you still control the world sword?" Lin Yuan asked directly. Communicating with his own parasite, a direct inquiry was enough. "Master, I should be able to." The Tianqing Alliance leader closed his eyes to sense for a while before nodding in reply. "Very good." A smile appeared in Lin Yuan's mind. The reason he went to such lengths trying to control the Tianqing Alliance leader was not only because of the Tianqing Alliance leader's strength as the strongest in the Tianqing world. What is more important is the world sword. The world sword was born from the Tianqing world. In theory, it had no possibility of emerging, as it was closely related to the origin source of the Tianqing world. If Lin Yuan could obtain the world sword and with his against heaven's understanding ponder over it, he might decipher the grand secret of the world's rotation and life and death, and then integrate it into his inner world. 8th layer evolvers and even 9th rank evolvers cultivations were primarily focused on the inner world. Constantly perfecting the inner world, enabling it to grow and eventually become a true big world. "Go bring back the world sword." Lin Yuan ordered the Tianqing Alliance leader. "Yes." The Tianqing Alliance leader got up and left. After half an hour, the Tianqing Alliance leader returned. But this time he held a stone-made long sword in his hand. This long sword, made entirely of gray-white stone, yet vaguely emitted the fluctuations of a power that commanded the world. "Is this the world sword?" With a thought from Lin Yuan, the world sword in the hands of the Tianqing Alliance leader flew towards Lin Yuan. Perhaps it sensed something. The world sword began to struggle violently. "If we were outside you might have a chance to break free. But here," Lin Yuan chuckled coldly. Having operated the Black Mist Mountain range for 100 years or so, every inch of space was within his grasp, leaving the world sword no possibility to resist. Lin Yuan's mind and consciousness briefly touched the world sword. Through the world sword, Lin Yuan faintly sensed the massive origin source of the Tianqing world, and the world consciousness that had fallen into slumber. As expected, it didn't surprise Lin Yuan at all that the world consciousness had fallen into slumber. It was to be expected. Did one truly believe using the world sword came without any price? If that was the case, then why wouldn't the Tianqing world let the world sword emerge? If it weren't for the invasion of the ancestral demon tree, which posed a destructive threat to the Tianqing world, it is likely that the world sword wouldn't have emerged this time either. The world sword is the manifest core essence of the Tianqing world. Every time the world sword is used, it shakes the consciousness of the Tianqing world. Over time, after numerous uses, the world consciousness of the Tianqing world will fall into slumber. Of course, even if the world consciousness falls asleep, the Tianqing world still has an almost instinctive defense against the outside world, but for the inside of the world, Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. If the world consciousness of the Tianqing world were awake, Lin Yuan's growth would definitely not have been so smooth. This was also thanks to the ancestral demon tree. Without this foreign evil god, the Tianqing Alliance leader would not have frequently urged the world sword and eventually reached a certain limit that put the world consciousness to sleep completely. Lin Yuan's gaze shifted, looking down at the Tianqing Alliance leader, the Vice Alliance hierarch, protectors, elders, the 4 divine beast kings and the demon beast kings. If one said that before gaining control over the Tianqing Alliance leader, Lin Yuan was merely the hidden puppeteer of the Tianqing world. Now Lin Yuan was the true uncrowned king of the Tianqing world. Time passed. In the blink of an eye, more than half a year had gone by. During this time Lin Yuan had the Tianqing Alliance leader and others return to the Tianqing mountain, the central point of the Tianqing world, to receive the worship of all beings as per the regular plan. Moreover, under Lin Yuan's secret push, the martial Tao cultivation system had officially become the most authoritative cultivation system in the Tianqing world, standing side by side with the original cultivation system. With Lin Yuan's influence, it was foreseeable that in a few hundred years, the cultivation system of the Tianqing world would be completely replaced by martial Tao. In the deepest part of the Black Mist Mountain range, Lin Yuan's consciousness converged in the root area, staring at the clump of dark flames burning. It's almost time, Lin Yuan thought to himself. It was also time to deal with the ancestral demon tree. Lin Yuan worried that if he continued to wait, the ancestral demon tree might think of forcibly cutting itself loose and fleeing. With this thought, Lin Yuan gathered his thoughts and began to contact the ancestral demon tree through the dark flame. The dark flame was the hinge between the ancestral demon tree and Lin Yuan. The ancestral demon tree could contact Lin Yuan through this flame. Lin Yuan could also do the opposite. Of course, originally, a tree demon spawn like Lin Yuan did not have the right to actively contact the ancestral demon tree. Experienced tales at Freeweb novel, but, after the last release of his talents, the ancestral demon tree simply allowed Lin Yuan to contact it at any time. There was no other way. As of now, Lin Yuan was its only surviving offspring, its hope to recover all losses by descending upon the Tianqing world. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 361. In fact, Lin Yuan had overestimated the ancestral demon tree. The foreign evil god didn't have the boldness to cut off its own flesh and leave. It had completely lost its composure and pinned all its hopes on Lin Yuan. Therefore, when Lin Yuan actively contacted the ancestral demon tree, pretending to have grown to the 5th stage, the joy in the heart of the ancestral demon tree was imaginable. Opportunity. The opportunity I've been waiting for has finally come. Outside the Tianqing world, in a shadowy expanse of the void, the ancestral demon tree stared intently at the vast world in the distance, as if looking at a delicious cake. After destroying the evil god battlefield, the Tianqing alliance leader deliberately left the world sword behind to prevent a counterattack from the ancestral demon tree. In reality, such a move was completely unnecessary, as the current ancestral demon tree retained only 50% of its origin source from its heyday, and after losing the invasion battlefield, it simply had no power to threaten the Tianqing world. Who would have thought the seed I planted back then would become the key to my descent into the Tianqing world? Mused the ancestral demon tree, pleased with itself. All along, it never once considered that Lin Yuan might deceive it. As an offspring derived from the progenitor, the former has an almost instinctual loyalty to the latter. Tianqing alliance leader and those people, they didn't notice you after they returned, did they? The ancestral demon tree asked. Ancestor, the Black Mist Mountain range where I hide is inconspicuous among the top 10 mountain ranges and has not attracted any attention, Lin Yuan said evenly, without a blush or a skipped heartbeat. That's good. The ancestral demon tree nodded. It thought the same. If Lin Yuan had indeed attracted the attention of powerhouses like the Tianqing alliance leader, how could he still contact it? Now start making preparations. In 3 days we will officially open the space channel. After giving a few instructions, the ancestral demon tree cut off contact. The reason for waiting 3 days before opening the space channel was entirely the ancestral demon tree's own plan. Its form was too large now, though compared to the entire Tianqing world, it was inconspicuous. But descending into the Tianqing world with such a massive size would draw attention no matter what. And such a huge body put pressure on the space channel. So over these 3 days, the ancestral demon tree intended to condense its form and shrink to within 100 meters. Only by doing so, could it possibly hide itself after passing through the space channel and buy enough time to assimilate into the world origin source. As long as I can devour the entire origin source of the Tianqing world, it's all worth it, the ancestral demon tree thought to itself, finding the process of compressing its form excruciatingly painful. And it would certainly affect its combat power. Amongst the void beyond realms, the bodies of evil gods measure millions to tens of millions of miles. Are they just for show? A large size, although it reduces agility, brings many benefits in other areas. The most obvious is the ability to survive. An evil god with a millions of miles long body, compared to one that's tens of thousands of miles long, who gains more energy from a single breath. Naturally, it is the former. And in the outer void, the ability to survive is crucial. Even the evil gods spend most of their lives drifting alone through the void. Encountering other evil gods or a world is an extremely rare event. That's why the ancestral demon tree is so eager to descend into the Tianqing world. Such an opportunity is too rare, it's enough to propel an evil god even further. Black Mist Mountain Range. In 3 days? Lin Yuan pondered. The ancestral demon tree's plan to open the space channel in 3 days was a bit unexpected. But still within his plans. After considering these things, Lin Yuan turned his head to look at the Tianqing Alliance leader and the others below. Have you brought all the reserves over? Lin Yuan asked with a hint of concern. The Tianqing world still held many reserves. These reserves were in place to prevent extreme situations, should the ancestral demon tree manage to invade the Tianqing world. Master, the Yin-Yang Reversal Heaven and Earth Extermination 9 Heavens Great Formations layout has already been set up, with 16 7th-rank powerhouses, 88 6th-rank peak powerhouses, and 194 6th-rank powerhouses stationed at the key positions, leaving no margin for error. Moreover, we have brought 13 Thunder Creation Pearls. These 13 Thunder Creation Pearls are the accumulation of millions of years from our Tianqing world. There will be no issues, the Tianqing Alliance leader declared, thumping his chest. That's good. Lin Yuan nodded slightly, content in his heart. The Yin-Yang Reversal Heaven and Earth Extermination 9 Heavens Great Formation mentioned by the Tianqing Alliance leader is the most powerful formation in the Tianqing world since ancient times. If this great formation didn't rely on the Tianqing world, if it didn't greatly lose its power once removed from the world's range, it probably would have been taken to the evil god battlefield long ago. This sort of formation could only manifest its greatest power within the world, powered by hundreds of powerhouses starting from the 6th rank. This great formation's power could rise to unimaginable heights. Even if the ancestral demon tree were in its prime, if by chance it fell within the reach of this great formation, it would barely escape with its life, if not worse. Experience new stories with Freeweb novel and the Thunder Creation Pearls? Lin Yuan has a profound understanding of the power of these pearls. A single Thunder Creation Pearl, when activated, would unleash a terrifying power that completely reaches the 8th layer level. The 9 Heavens Thunder of the Tianqing world, after gestating for millions of years, yielded only 15 Thunder Creation Pearls in total. Aside from the ones previously used, the remaining 13 Thunder Creation Pearls were brought in one fell swoop by the Tianqing Alliance leader. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 362. Of course, while the Thunder Creation Pearl was mighty and terrifying, its flaws were also quite evident. One of which was the lengthy activation time, and during the activation period, it would emit thunderous fluctuations. At that time, even a fool could tell that you were preparing to use your trump card. By then, there would be ample time to consider whether to temporarily avoid the brunt of its force. However, the flaw of the Thunder Creation Pearl, to the soon-to-arrive ancestral demon tree, was tantamount to non-existent. Lin Yuan could calculate the timing perfectly. He could activate the Thunder Creation Pearl in advance, so that by the time the ancestral demon tree descended into the Tianqing world, the activation of the Thunder Creation Pearl would have nearly reached its end. The ancestral demon tree would probably not have reacted before it had to confront the earth-shattering might of 13 Thunder Creation Pearls. Still, the sensation is a bit off. Lin Yuan's mind stirred slightly. The stone sword, the world sword, flew out, landing in front of the Tianqing Alliance leader. This world weapon could only be activated by the creatures of this world. As for Lin Yuan, even if he could completely suppress the world sword, he couldn't activate it. After all, the evil demonic force of the demon tree was diametrically opposed to the pure power within the world sword. During the time Lin Yuan held the world sword, his main goal was to use it to comprehend the operations of the Tianqing world. Can you assure that with this sword you can deal with that foreign evil god? Lin Yuan looked towards the Tianqing Alliance leader and asked. The world sword was the strongest foundation of the Tianqing world, and naturally, Lin Yuan could not let it go to waste. Since he himself couldn't activate it, then he would let the original owner of the world sword do so. After all, Lin Yuan had now completely taken control over the Tianqing Alliance leader, and to him the world sword was merely going through the motions. Master, rest assured. With this sword in hand just by myself, I can surely suppress that foreign evil god. The Tianqing Alliance leader was visibly excited. The closer the World Sword was to the Tianqing world, the greater its might. Now that the World Sword was within the Tianqing world, its power was unbelievably strong. It's almost time. Lin Yuan checked once more and nodded slightly. In truth, even if the ancestral demon tree expended everything to withstand the yin-yang reversal heaven and earth extermination 9 heavens great formation, to withstand the destructive thunder creation pearl, to withstand the Tianqing Alliance leader wielding the world sword, it would still have to face the most terrifying existence. And that was Lin Yuan himself. In over 100 years, thanks to his against heaven's understanding, Lin Yuan himself did not know the extent of his strength, because so far, there hadn't been anyone who had forced him to exert his full power. Even when dealing with the Tianqing Alliance leader, Lin Yuan had done it effortlessly, without spending a bit of energy. Time passed. In a blink, 3 days later arrived. The ancestral demon tree was still somewhat uneasy, and checked one last time with Lin Yuan. You're sure the surroundings of the spatial channel you're about to open are safe, right? The ancestral demon tree asked solemnly. Lin Yuan looked at the several hundred experts ready for battle, the thunder creation pearl emitting a world-terminating vibration, himself still holding the world sword, and the Tianqing Alliance leader exuding a terrifying presence. Absolutely safe. Lin Yuan nodded and encouraged, Ancestor, you can rest assured, don't you trust me? After assuring the ancestral demon tree a few more times, Lin Yuan began to open the spatial channel. A faint power of space began to fluctuate. An entrance was beginning to form. Outside the world, the form of the ancestral demon tree was now less than 60 meters tall. The spatial channel has finally begun to open. I've waited too long for this day. The ancestral demon tree looked at the gradually forming spatial channel, somewhat tearful with emotion. Just under half an hour. All I need is less than half an hour. Then I can successfully perform the secret technique and merge within the origin source of the Tianqing world. The ancestor meticulously calculated the time. Even though the moment the spatial channel was opened, the resultant spatial fluctuations would inevitably spread in every direction. By the time the powerhouses of the Tianqing world took notice, it would have been far too long. A mere half an hour was far too short for the entire Tianqing world. Unless upon his arrival, there was a large group of Tianqing world powerhouses waiting in strict formation. No one else could prevent him from merging with the origin source of the Tianqing world. Once the merge was successful, after devouring all of the Tianqing world's origin source, the ancestral demon tree would become unprecedentedly powerful. Ha 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 ha. Tianqing world, here I come. The ancestral demon tree patiently waited for a while, confirmed the successful opening of the spatial channel, and then confidently entered the spatial channel entrance. The next moment, as if crossing infinite distances, when the ancestral demon tree stepped out of the spatial channel, it had arrived deep within the Black Mist Mountain range. This is? The ancestral demon tree had yet to get a clear look at its surroundings when it caught a scent, and its expression was one of pure enjoyment. A delicious scent. The ancestral demon tree felt every pore in its body relax, a stark contrast to the harsh environment outside the realm. Inside this world, the environment was filled with a gentle power that seemed like heaven to it. Hurry up and apply the secret technique. The ancestral demon tree was aware of the gravity of the situation. The ancestral demon tree began to observe its surroundings. It quickly noticed Lin Yuan. You? With the world barrier gone, the ancestral demon tree immediately sensed that Lin Yuan had grown to the 6th stage. And he was at the limit of the 6th stage. Far beyond what one at the beginning of the 5th stage could compare to. In addition, the ancestral demon tree was shocked to discover, it felt a faint, trembling presence emanating from Lin Yuan. How could this be possible at this time? Although the ancestral demon tree currently had only half of its origin source and its strength was far from its peak, it shouldn't be like this when facing its own offspring, even if only 1/10 of the origin source was left. Something isn't right. The ancestral demon tree immediately came to its senses. It was about to turn and return through the spatial channel to the outside of the world. However, crack. The spatial channel in front of it began to collapse bit by bit. The ancestral demon tree was stunned on the spot. The next moment, a terrifying aura erupted into the sky. A set of formations, faintly radiating infinite might, unfolded, with the force of yin-yang 9 heavens extermination spreading throughout. Immediately after, thunder pearls began to emit extremely terrifying energy fluctuations. Terrifying thunderous power permeated the area, transforming a million li around it into the nine heavens thunder pond, and under the extremely young and rigid thunderous power, the ancestral demon tree felt its consciousness dim and its remaining strength once again suppressed. However, this was far from over. The yin-yang reversal heaven and earth extermination nine heavens great formation was fully activated, with hundreds of powerhouses striking simultaneously. Next, the Tianqing Alliance leader wielding the world sword, exerted all his strength in a slash, and within an instant space was torn apart and terrifying might descended. No. Upon seeing this scene the ancestral demon tree's scalp exploded. I am the ancestral demon. The ancestral demon tree did not hesitate to reveal its true body, its 60-meter stature growing rapidly. Rustle, rustle. In just an instant half of the ancestral demon tree's body was torn apart. It made the ancestral demon tree's heart chill. Before the ancestral demon tree could take any action, the next wave of attack surged over again. Ah! The ancestral demon tree suddenly emitted a terrifying psychic fluctuation, because it knew it probably wouldn't leave the Tianqing world alive. Boom, boom, boom. Terrifying energy fluctuations poured down as if cascading. Before death, the ancestral demon tree's mind flickered with one thought after another. Even now it was unclear about what had actually happened. Why were there so many powerhouses lying in ambush outside the spatial channel? And why were they using the Tianqing world's ultimate power? Could it be that the offspring demon tree had defected to the Tianqing world? But that seemed even more improbable. Whether it was the offspring demon tree or the ancestral demon tree, they stood in opposition to the Tianqing world, with no chance of reconciliation. Even if the offspring demon tree wanted to defect, the Tianqing world would have to be willing. If it wasn't the offspring demon tree defecting, then did the Tianqing world control the offspring demon tree? But that seemed equally impossible. As a descendant of a foreign evil god, it wouldn't be so easily controlled. How else could the ancestral demon tree have roamed outside the realm for so many years? And just now, in a fleeting glance, the ancestral demon tree perceived that the many powerhouses of the Tianqing world, including the strongest Tianqing Alliance leader wielding the world sword, were all treating its offspring demon tree with the utmost respect? Why was that? Within the split second, one doubt after another flashed through the ancestral demon tree's mind. Boom, boom, boom. The ancestral demon tree's massive body was torn asunder. Countless origin sources scattered, with exceptionally pure powers of evil emerging. Discover hidden tales at FreeWeb novel. Stop. Seeing this, Lin Yuan's thoughts stirred slightly. The remaining 5/10 of the ancestral demon tree's origin source began to converge in front of him, and he swallowed it all at once. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Firstly, he needed to understand the hidden secrets of these foreign evil gods, the demon trees. The ancestral demon tree was the absolute ruler of countless demon trees. As long as it was alive, other subordinate demon trees would unconditionally obey its commands. This was a form of mental and ideological bondage. Next, there was physical bondage. With just a single thought, the ancestral demon tree could destroy any subordinate demon tree. Of course, Lin Yuan was an exception. He descended into a dying subordinate demon tree through the door to the myriad realms with his consciousness. Although he replaced the original demon tree, he was not bound by the loyalty or ideological constraints towards the ancestral demon tree. Neither mental and ideological nor physical constraints. These only existed while the ancestral demon tree was alive. Once the ancestral demon tree died, the mental, ideological and physical constraints would all vanish. Countless demon trees would develop a certain notion deep within. That was to grow to the 7th stage and become the new ancestral demon tree. This was akin to an ant queen in a colony. The death of an ant queen didn't mean the colony would collapse, but under the drive of instinct, a new queen would be born. Lin Yuan was now facing this problem. Deep within, he felt the presence of other demon trees scattered at immeasurable distances. These demon trees were the numerous reserves left by the ancestral demon tree, either to help the ancestral demon tree guard a treasure or to suppress something in a discovered secret realm. And now, these demon trees almost simultaneously sensed the death of the ancestral demon tree. The ancestor has died. The ancestor was so powerful, how could it die? The ancestor has died, I want to become the new ancestor. Having lost their ideological restraint, countless demon trees developed ambition. At the same time, freed from physical constraint, the various talents and abilities of the ancestral demon tree began to awaken within the subordinate demon trees. All want to become the ancestor? A chill spread across Lin Yuan's face. Although he didn't care much for the ancestral demon tree, after all, he had just slain a true ancestral demon tree. But Lin Yuan couldn't accept the other demon trees picking his fruit. Let me become the ancestral demon tree then. Lin Yuan hesitated not at all. Since this journey was just a consciousness descent, regardless of what he became in this traversed world, once he returned to the main world he would revert back to his original form. Lin Yuan also wanted to experience what it felt like to become a foreign evil god. The growth of a demon tree is divided into 8 stages. Although the ancestral demon tree was said to be at the 8th stage, it hadn't truly stepped into it. Strictly speaking, the ancestral demon tree was still at the 7th stage. With the complete death of the ancestral demon tree, the first demon tree to grow to the 7th stage would become the new ancestral demon tree. The 7th stage for a demon tree represented a certain limit. A demon tree at the 7th stage could gradually break free from mental and ideological constraints, even while the ancestral demon tree was still alive. Therefore, the ancestral demon tree would never allow a 7th stage demon tree to come into being. And if a 7th stage demon tree emerged, no matter the distance, the ancestral demon tree could immediately sense it. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 364. Even before, Lin Yuan had already reached the peak of the 6th stage, but he had hesitated to step into the 7th stage for fear of alerting the ancestral demon tree. But now that was no longer a concern. Thanks to the suppression by the ancestral demon tree, aside from Lin Yuan, all other demon trees at their highest growth stages were only at the 5th stage. Aiming to rush into the 7th stage in a short time was simply impossible, even if they unlocked the many talents and abilities of the ancestral demon tree. Thus Lin Yuan was under no pressure whatsoever. After a brief preparation, Lin Yuan began to push towards the 7th stage. In truth, for a demon tree at the peak of the 6th stage, challenging the 7th stage came with risks. Every stage of a demon tree represented a significant transformation. But for Lin Yuan, the risk was almost non-existent after he devoured a great amount of origin source from the former ancestral demon tree. Moreover, with the aid of Against Heaven's understanding, if Lin Yuan still could not break through to the 7th stage, he might as well end his voyage early and return to the main world. Boom boom boom. After 10 days, Lin Yuan grew into a 7th stage demon tree. Frubbubble. See him. The moment Lin Yuan stepped into this stage, a wondrous feeling struck him. Originally, Lin Yuan could not sense the existence of other demon trees. But the death of the ancestral demon tree granted Lin Yuan the ability to vaguely sense many distant demon trees. However, it was just a vague notion still stemming from a sense of competition with one another. Likewise, other demon trees could also sense Lin Yuan's presence. Before the birth of a new ancestral demon tree, all demon trees were equal in status. But now this vague perception had changed to complete control upon reaching the 7th stage. Lin Yuan could forcibly connect with all demon trees through a sort of intangible authority, regardless of whether they wished it or not. And Lin Yuan could also control the life and death of any demon tree at will. To put it simply, Lin Yuan was now the ancestral demon tree. As Lin Yuan ascended to the 7th stage and became the new ancestral demon tree, all the demon trees also received this information, and at the same time, new ways of thinking and thought restraints were formed. From then on, these demon trees regarded Lin Yuan with absolute loyalty. Any ambitions or wild thoughts that had arisen due to the death of the previous ancestral demon tree vanished without a trace. This was the nature of the demon tree race. So long as the ancestral demon tree lived, the entire race shared but one will. We have seen the ancestor. 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 This was an exclusive ability of the ancestral demon tree, completely different from methods like void roots, and something only the ancestral demon tree itself could master. It was a unique ability amongst the entire demon tree race. No wonder the ancestral demon tree was so eager to enter the interior of the Tianqing world, without worrying about being besieged by other powerhouses. Lin Yuan appeared contemplative. Theoretically, with the world sword in hand, the Tianqing alliance leader could exert combat power beyond that of outside the world when within it. The arrival of the ancestral demon tree in the Tianqing world would make it vulnerable, like fish trapped in a secret pot or dogs trapped in a dead-end street. But the ancestral demon tree still desired to do so because it could merge into the world origin vast ocean. Not even the Tianqing alliance leader could enter the origin vast ocean of the Tianqing world. If the ancestral demon tree entered, it would be in an invincible position, and could freely devour the world origin source, rapidly becoming stronger. As for the many consequences of devouring the world origin source, like the decline of the Tianqing world, or even its destruction, those were not concerns of the ancestral demon tree. If I wished, I could also merge into the world origin source and easily devour the entire Tianqing world's origin source. Lin Yuan thought to himself. Even at this moment, the instincts from the ancestral demon tree were urging Lin Yuan to do so. Unfortunately, I am not the ancestral demon tree. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. For Lin Yuan, he was but a passerby in this world who would leave when his time was up, and he would do so without taking anything with him. Devouring the Tianqing world's origin source would indeed enhance the foundation of the ancestral demon tree, and might even push it a step closer to the 8th stage. But what did that have to do with Lin Yuan? Unless Lin Yuan was willing to pay a great price to take the ancestral demon tree back to the main world, the strength of the ancestral demon tree, however formidable, was irrelevant. In Lin Yuan's mind, maintaining the stability of the Tianqing world so that it could carry on the dissemination of the martial path evolutionary path, was the choice that maximized benefits. At the very least, it could provide assistance for Lin Yuan's future, ultimate leap. Even if the entire Tianqing world's origin source was devoured, the ancestral demon tree would not be able to step into the 8th stage, which is the legendary end of the road for the demon tree race. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. The cultivation system of the ancestral demon tree was based on mining its own potential. Even if it truly entered the 8th stage, it would not provide him with a view from above to assist his growth. Therefore, from beginning to end, Lin Yuan never thought about devouring the Tianqing world's origin source because for him, it was more harm than good. Continue to cultivate. After pondering for a while, Lin Yuan continued with his enlightenment. Upon becoming the ancestral demon tree, Lin Yuan mastered many methods exclusive to the ancestral demon tree, which he could consider integrating into the martial path evolutionary path. To make the martial path evolutionary path more perfect and adaptable to more harsh environments. And so, time swiftly passed by. In the blink of an eye, 300 years had gone by. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible.